You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning 2024. How's everybody doing this evening? Give me 1 second. Hope you guys are all doing and living well. Got an echo in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, good. We're good to go. How's everybody doing out there? A little late start tonight. Let's see. Thanks for being here, and thank you to all you Winner Circle members out there who support the channel, and a special thanks to Shelly and Wolfram who support the channel over on Rumble, which I forgot to add. I knew there was something. A lot's going on here. All right, so Rumble should be coming online and right about now. Hey, Rumble, what's up? You missed the intro, but that's all right. Okay, guys, how's it going out there? How's it going? Good to see each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. And let me click this on. Let me say hello to each and every one of you. Heidi, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Good to see you. There's Shelly talking trash to her new avatar, looking sexy as ever. There she goes. All right. Thank you for dropping these links, Wolfram. And remember, when you're here, always listen to Wolf. He knows what he's talking about. Yes, he does. He wipes his paws. He loops in anyhow. The Alpha Mod is here. All right. What's up, y'all? What's up? It's wonky. It skipped you through the intro. Really? I'm sorry. Hopefully that came out all right. Let me see. I think, well, there's something we can do about it now. Tonight on Winning 2024, we're going to talk about Kash Patel. He's the big news of the week so far. Appointed or nominated. Do they have to vote on an FBI director, or does he just get nominated and that's it? Appointed. Either way, all the establishment is freaking out about it because they know TikTok, our time is coming. Well, whatever that means. They just know the jobs can get done, right? That's the way I see it. It's going to get done right for sure. And they don't like that. They like it nice and crooked. That's the way they like it. So they can get away with bullshit like the Iron Chief, Biden, pardons his crooked son for 11 years. We're going to get into that as well. But the one story that nobody's talking about that much, at least, is what's going on in Asia right now. There's lots of geopolitical stuff going on over there. Not just South Korea declaring martial law. Wow. We're going to talk about that. But also, get my mic adjusted here. Also, India and China preparing for war. We keep hearing about this, but Arunachal Pradesh is invaded. So there's an invasion going on there. I guess they're trying to get everything in before Trump comes in and straightens it out. I don't know what they're doing. We're going to take a look at that as well. Thank each and every one of you guys for being here. I appreciate it here on a late start set Tuesday. I had so much going on that I just needed to push it. So we'll do what we got to do, man. We'll do what we got to do. See, did I get this up and running? right, there's that, and there is that. Daisy Girl Williams just came floating in on a cloud. How you doing, Daisy Girl? How you doing this evening? Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, I'm not gonna waste a lot of time in the up front here. Let's see. We're gonna get right into this. Where did I put that one right there? That's the one we want. All right. So over the weekend, and this is a good intro right here too, because in this take on Cash, we're gonna see the book we're getting ready to read on Unrig the Game right there on the bottom right hand corner. Check it out right there. All right, let's jump on in.
Over the weekend, Donald Trump nominated Kash Patel to be the director of the FBI under his administration, which is causing the liberal media and the Democrats in Congress to have almost as big of a meltdown as when he nominated Matt Gaetz to be the attorney general. Sadly, that didn't work out, but Kash may not get confirmed by the Senate either, which is why Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration. But even if he can't, there might be something else going on here. So stay tuned. Here's an MSNBC analyst whose name is not important because he's not important, but he does offer up the general sentiment of the liberal media in response to Kash's nomination.
To me, Kash Patel, I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy. And you might think that having Pete Hegseth running the military is a greater level of danger because of his lack of experience, or Tulsi Gabbard at intelligence. But just as far as the threats to democracy that we were warning up about before the election, and Kash Patel was a key player inside the Trump White House,
who investigated the schemers who launched the Russiagate hoax, trying to take down the first Trump administration. And that's just one of the many reasons he would be fantastic as the next director of the FBI. They say you can often judge a man by his enemies. Yep. And when MSNBC is saying things like this about him, he would be fantastic.
Kash Patel as FBI director would be like if you crossed Alex Jones with J. Edgar Hoover in terms of just how much he would want to ignore precedent and the constraints that have been
put. Why does this guy have any credibility at all
onto the FBI over the years? With all of the conspiracy theorizing
that the Democrats have been spewing over the last 8 years? Yes, Kash would definitely put a stop to that. He would also uncover some conspiracy facts that many would rather keep buried, like publishing Epstein's client list and some of the details about P. Diddy's parties. Not to mention, he would put an end to the systemic wokeness in the Bureau. And
yes, he would. Last night on Unrig the Game, J. Michael Waller broke this part down very nicely. He actually even described this scene right here that we're seeing in the book. If you haven't, you need to check that book out, Big Intel by J. Michael Waller. I promote it every show because it's so awesome. I got my 3 copies in the mail today, so I have my hard copy right there, and I have Christmas presents to give out. So, woohoo! Awesome.
Save the American people from being subjected to nonsense like this from official FBI social media accounts.
This stuff has no place in our intelligence agencies. You can tell when something is completely corrupted and not working the way it's supposed to when you see shit like this become important and not protecting our country or telling the truth or being transparent, right? This is more important to them than transparency and stopping people like Epstein and Diddy and the people that are partaking in their debauchery and their sickness, their mental illness. When that's more important, when this is more important than stopping people like that and exposing those who participate in that, that there's something seriously wrong. And they don't want this to go away. So that's why they don't like Kash Patel.
Know that diversity makes us stronger. During Pride Month, the FBI celebrates our LGBTQIA+ colleagues' contributions to our country and our mission. Contributions, huh? Contributions like literally half of Black gay men and a quarter of Latino gay men projected to be diagnosed with HIV at some point in their lifetime. This according to HIV.gov, the official government account tracking this. But in wokeness, that's cause for celebration. Today, the FBI raised the pride flag at our headquarters in support of our LGBTQ colleagues. We thank them for their contributions to the FBI and the country. Stay tuned because there's plenty more to come in this video, but real quick, this weekend, you can still save 20% off anything from my online store at markdice.com. by using the promo code Black Friday, concerned that the new Trump administration is going to do the very things that the Democrats themselves are and have been guilty of, while they continue to deny their corruption with a straight face.
Do you think there are any issues inside the FBI around politicization, as many who voted for Donald Trump seem to say?
We're just imagining the corruption and the weaponization targeting Donald Trump and his supporters.
I haven't seen what the proof is that the FBI has been weaponized against a political party or the.
this lie. This guy and these people, man, they just can lie so easily. You know why? It's because they lie to themselves.
Department of Justice.
Here's the former deputy director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, who now works for the Clown News Network. He's very upset, which means that you know that this was the right decision.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible development for the men and women of the FBI and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation.
This is the clown who Donald Trump fired, which meant that he wasn't supposed to be able to collect his pension then, but then he sued and sadly won that case. This is one of the reasons why they're so scared of Kash Patel. Here he is explaining his investigation as Devin Nunes' aide for the U.S. House Intelligence Committee, investigating who it was that crafted and perpetuated the Russiagate hoax.
All 60-some witnesses said no to every question under oath relating to coordination, conspiracy, or collusion. That means I'm talking to attorney generals, former high-level DOJ folks, former FBI guys, former high-level FBI guys, deputy director of the FBI, heads of the IC. All of these people who were in place at the time during the Obama administration, not a single one of them could tell me under oath that they had evidence of any kind of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy. I found that kind of shocking since for the last year at that point, the media had been talking about this grand scheme by President Trump and his allies to use Putin to rig the election.
But it wasn't just people in the media. It was the same people who wouldn't say under oath that there was any evidence when they were not under oath, giving interviews to the Operation Mockingbird media, being Operation Mockingbird assets themselves, who were saying there's plenty of evidence. There's mountains. There's more every day.
Sure.
Yeah, lots of people. And that was one of our hardest parts. So the reason we did the depositions, the transcripts, the other reason we did them was we wanted to print them out and send them out so you guys could read them for yourselves rather than having to rely on us to say, hey, what'd they say in that interview? What'd they say in that interview? And so we immediately, that was one of the deals I made with Devin. I said, whatever we find, documents or interviews or otherwise, we put it out to the American people.
Of course, the swamp creatures don't want the swamp to be drained. And when they hear Kash talking about things like this, they get very scared.
Then we need to decrease what I call government creep with personnel. The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big. And the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops.
There you go.
You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and rapists and drug dealers and violent offenders.
Yep.
What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here?
This sounds like a job for DOGE, the new Department of Government Efficiency.
What would you say you do here?
One thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections.
The people who signed contracts with the CIA for Operation Mockingbird. If you read my book, The True Story of Fake News, you would know that that's standard operating procedure for decades. The CIA not only has them as assets and on the payroll under the table, but they sign NDAs so that even if they have a change of heart, they can't talk about it.
We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
Sounds like a plan, but sadly, this pick may be too good to be true. It's going to be very difficult for him to get approved by the Senate.
J-Man,
when we have such a narrow margin, which again is the reason why Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from the nomination as the next Attorney General. But it may be possible that even if he's not able to get confirmed, he still could be the acting FBI.
So he has to be confirmed. All right. You know, again, this is the thing that J. Michael Waller talked about in his interview with Tucker Carlson, how they're going to try to obstruct from day one, first by trying to slow down and inhibit Trump's appointees from getting into office. They're going to slow down their security clearances. They're going to do all kinds of things. So we know when we start to see these things happen that that J. Michael Waller has precisely pinpointed where the issue is going to come from and what they're going to be. And we know the name of that group as well. I have to go back to remind myself exactly the name. But I did cover it just a few weeks ago again. It was a refresher. This group, and you can see the interview. It's the deep state's plans for 2024. I believe that's what it's called. And that had to do with the election, and if the scenario if Trump had won, it wins the election, what they're going to do. And it's going to be lawfare. It's going to be, just making him run through mud to get his appointees in, and then slowing down all those processes. And I think that it's going to backfire on him. I really do. I think that because we know about it and it's been exposed, as they do it, the people who participate in it will slowly be, their names will be going on a list, and then they will be pulled up and pulled out of their positions. So that it's really going to expose even more of the deep state and the corruption within the system as they try to execute these lame plans. And for all the senators and all the House representatives or anybody else who participates in this scheme, right? Their days are numbered. So it's going to seem like hell to go through this. It's going to seem very discouraging and demoralizing, but don't let it get to you. Just remember, these people are calling themselves out, and it will be their asses in the end that pay for it.
Director for 210 days, because Donald Trump could use the Federal Vacancy Reform Act. This may be a long shot, but this might be the strategy where he could still be the acting director until that term expires, and then Trump would just nominate someone else, and they would hold new hearings to confirm the next nominee. Either way, Trump nominating him and then getting all of these previous interviews that he has done to resurface, to show his philosophy and the MAGA agenda for cleaning up the FBI is fantastic. What else is fantastic?
Yes. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, my man. All right. Cool. So that's our step in there. That's our step in. But as we go around, we're going to hear a little bit more about how these
we begin tonight with a
liberal
Fox
media
News
is
alert.
losing their mind over this pick. With our good friend Greg Foreman. Let's see. So I got these. I'm working with these new headphones tonight. They're a little bit more streamlined, less heavy than my old ones. And it's wild because it's like they're this. I never realized how much. How better the sound dampening is. Well, I'm realizing how much better the sound dampening is on these, so it's a little bit different to wear them. I'm getting used to it. I also reduced the size of my front screen, and to get more room on my desk, future endeavors and whatnot. But I'm getting used to having a slightly smaller screen, but it's a lot less brighter, so I like it. The colors are better. Good old Cyber Money. Early Merry Christmas to me. But there we go. So yeah, that's getting all that set up beforehand was why I was running a little bit late, and everything was kind of coming in late here to the house. I was like, oh, let me set this up. But yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, Mark's been around for a long time. I was putting Shelly to sleep. Good night, Shelly. All right.
We begin tonight with a Fox News alert. President-elect Donald Trump has...
Oh, sorry. I got to share the screen first.
We begin tonight with a Fox News alert.
T-Rex trucking and more. What's up, my
President-elect
friend? How you doing? Meanwhile,
Kash Patel as FBI director would be like if you crossed Alex Jones with J. Edgar Hoover in terms of just how much he would want to ignore precedent and the constraints.
That's that guy again. Let's see. I like Trump's picks, but he's very changed my tune, and I'm not in favor of adjourned appointments. You know what? We're fighting a corrupt system, man. And like I just got through saying, they're gonna try everything to obstruct him. They already have plans to do it. Like it's nice to be all prim and proper when everything's going right, but when you got a corrupt establishment on its death throes that will do anything to anyone at any time, they're not really legit. You know, that's the thing that we don't understand is our government isn't legit right now. It's corrupted, and when it's corrupted, it's not legit, right? So, you know, the hard line libertarian stance of do everything by the book and never sway from it, that's going to be great. And when you're not fighting an illegitimate, corrupt establishment in charge of your government, but our government's literally been taken over, and it has been. And it's like we're just used to it. We think that this is the way it is, right? And that's what we're going to see the biggest change coming in the next several years, is that if we're able to actually legitimize our government, right, we're gonna see a big change in what we should expect, right? And then we can go back to being, okay, well, you know, we don't really want to do these things, but some of these things are in place so that you can deal with an illegitimate government or a corrupted government, corrupt establishment, power within your government. So adjourned appointments, whatever he has to do to get the right people in the position with all these crony, compromised individuals, you know, in the deep state and in the establishment, both the same thing, you know, they're all part of the same corrupt mechanism. Do it. I don't care. Get it done, because I want a future. And if we keep pussyfooting around and letting them push us around and do all this bullshit, we're never going to get there. They're just going to make us run through mud for 4 years. And they're going to come out there and they're going to do some kind of bullshit and get one of their corrupt puppets in there again. And we're going to be rolling back everything again. It's going to be on and on and on and on. I'm running out of years here, man. I want this shit to be done with and taken care of, so my kid can enjoy his future that he deserves. You know, in a country that people have fought, our ancestors have fought and died for in order to make it free and full of liberty and freedom. And you know, it's not going to happen if we just pussyfoot around with these corrupt individuals, man. You know, you gotta punch the bully in the mouth sometimes, man. It's nice to be a pacifist. It's nice to do everything proper, and that's the way it should be done in an uncorrupt system. But whatever he has to do, just do it.
Brains that have been put onto the FBI over the years, with all of the conspiracy.
Like, otherwise, you have idiots like this guy in charge telling everybody what to think, and they believe it.
Theorizing, all of the eagerness to fan the flames of the worst instincts.
He's just worried because all the wokeness is going to be leaving the FBI, and his boyfriend's going to lose his job.
Of President Trump put into power. Those two things should never mix. Kash Patel has them both, and he is a couple of votes away from that happening once he's put before the Senate.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Boy. Right. If you guys thought the meltdowns were crazy over Trump nominating Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General, just wait until you see the meltdowns over the next few days about his pick to become the next director of the FBI to replace Christopher Wray. And that is no other than Kash Patel, who I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. I mean, this guy has done so much work with the last Trump administration trying to dispel the Russia hoax, all of the persecutions against the president. Kash Patel has been a big defender of President Trump. And the guy has basically promised that if he was in charge of the FBI, he would reform the FBI from top to bottom. Okay, he would get rid of the career bureaucrats and rein in one of the most corrupt three-letter agencies that we have. Okay, and this is why the mainstream liberal media and Democrats are there boohoo, whining, and crying. They're losing their minds over this pick. So I want to go ahead and play this clip from Fox News so you guys can get a better idea of Kash's background and why he was picked by President Trump, because there
Cool
is
gamer,
a
what's
common
up, my friend?
pattern
How you
here
doing?
among some of these picks that Trump has selected to be a part of his team, to be a part of his cabinet. And Kash Patel definitely fits the mold of what Trump is looking for in his next administration. Take a look.
This is news. This is big news, actually. Trump has tapped Kash Patel to lead the FBI, and he calls him an advocate for truth. Some background information on Kash Patel. He served as the senior director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council. And he served as the chief of staff for acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller from 2020, 2021. He also was deeply involved in writing what they call the Devin Nunes memo, which is a few pages that came out that really started to legitimize the skepticism on how the FBI was handling their probe into the Trump campaign back in 2016, and really brought a lot of that stuff to light. And it's something that I think that's one of the things that scares people that are in the establishment or in the deep state so much about him being in charge of an entity like the FBI.
Here's another reason why people are scared. Listen to what he says he'll do on day one if he becomes FBI director.
Scary.
Then we need to decrease what I call government creep with personnel.
Government gangsters.
The
We'll be reading it
FBI's
soon.
footprint has gotten so freaking big.
We heard this part.
And the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. While you're bringing in the right people, you also have to shrink government.
So massive government reform.
Yeah. And you got to work with Congress to eliminate the billets. This is one of the things we did when I was deputy DNI.
There you go.
We got to DNI and I was like, okay, what do all these people do?
Mm-hmm.
We've got the CIA. So why do I have analysts doing the CIA's job here? Why do I have a floor of them? Like, give me a good answer. I don't know everything. I don't know a lot. But if you can give me an answer that satisfies their existence, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Well, we
They're
just
not
have our
gonna
own
give you one.
people. Okay, well, now we don't. And we went to Congress and zeroed out a bunch of billets, and they hated us for it.
Why? Why would Congress hate you for that?
Not Congress, the public. Congress is like, great, you saved us money. You're the only agency that returned money this year because we didn't spend our entire budget. We were literally funding seats with no humans in them for years.
Funding seats with no humans
And
in them.
what the government creep that I was talking about is these agencies go to Congress every year. And again, this is why it's a thing of decades. I need 5 more seats here. I need 10 more seats here. Okay, you keep doing that. How's that going? Oh, we'll fill that seat next year. We're in the process of, interviewing people for that section. And that keeps, no one returns money. It's the biggest fiction in government that you can't return money. Every agency and department that I've ever worked for, when it comes to the fiscal end of the year, they're like, go on trips, go spend money. What? Just give it back to Congress.
Right.
We can't do that.
That's Kash Patel on the Sean Ryan show. That is, in my opinion, very refreshing to hear. That is very dangerous for others to hear, and they have responded like that, calling him, in fact, unqualified and dangerous. But to me, he also represents consistency. If you see the people that Donald Trump has appointed to his cabinet, the common thread, from Pete Hegseth to RFK, from Tulsi Gabbard to Brendan Carr at the FCC, to Kash Patel, to Dr. Jay Bhattacharya at the NIH, is that they all represent what would have been black sheep over the last 4 years, people marginalized and called conspiracy theorists. But today what they represent is true disruptors.
That's right.
Yeah, that is something that they really don't like, right? It is very dangerous for them to hear somebody say, hey, you know what, I want to come in and actually make the department more efficient. I don't want to spend unnecessary money that we don't have to spend. I want to go after the people who are trying to weaponize the law enforcement agencies of this country to go after their political opponents. I actually want to focus on fighting crime, right? Actually dealing with the real criminals, okay, in this country. That is what Kash Patel represents. And clearly, this man is the right man for the job, considering how much of a freak out MSNBC, CNN, the liberal media, they're having right now over him being nominated to be the next director of the FBI. Take a look.
Andrew, I just want to start first with you and just get your reaction to this news tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible development for the men and women of the FBI and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning collect political intelligence and to utilize the legal authorities, the investigative authorities of the FBI to terrorize.
Again, another like beta male crying about the fact that we're going to have real people in positions of government No, I'm not gonna get all my things and stuff. I'm not gonna be able to lie to people anymore. I'm not gonna find out about my bad habits off, in my home life and
intimidate Americans.
Dude, I can't wait. Dude, just line them up, throw them all in jail.
So the question is that where we're going back to with this nomination? I would argue that
Yeah, you're just scared shitless. You better look out.
Kash Patel would be the perfect person for Donald Trump to nominate if that's in fact his intent for the FBI.
Yeah, you go ahead and frame it however you want to, loser. We all know about how corrupt you are.
Now he's fired Christopher Wray, the person he picked.
Here comes
and he's replacing him with a clown in Kash Patel. And he's replacing him with somebody that is not
who's this guy? Who's this guy? How do you have a right to say that?
Qualified for this job, that has not been
He's very qualified for this job.
An agent that is not
this guy. Here's a guy who's just like barking the lines
respect
out.
and trust of colleagues. It has not demonstrated that they can be in a leadership role, managing.
Who are you? Are you a leader? Are you a leader? Are you a manager? How can you make that assessment? Who's this guy? Anybody know who this guy is? Just another talking head.
Other law enforcement officials, and he was a attorney for Devin Nunes on the Hill. He did do some counterterrorism.
He did do some of that
operations for Trump in the first administration, so there is some experience there.
Well, yeah, now he's got
management experience, trust.
But no, what kind of management?
Independence. And it's the person that does podcast hits on Steve Bannon's podcast wearing a MAGA hat.
No,
he has his own
God, no, he does a podcast with a MAGA hat on.
Cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency. He likes cryptocurrency.
Money sign H. This is a person that is not qualified for this job in any way, shape, or form.
Because you say so. He probably does his podcast sitting on the toilet.
Barr said that Patel would be deputy FBI director over his dead body.
The deep state guy said, the guy who worked for Bush who totally screwed Trump over, that guy said it over his dead body. He's credible. I don't think so.
Bill Barr says, furthermore, Patel had.
Oh, and Bill Barr, one of our deep state assets, says that Kash Patel's bad. Okay.
Virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's
was it Bill Barr? He's an establishment proven, so he knows.
Eminent law enforcement agency. The very idea of moving Patel into a role like this showed a shocking detachment.
Oh no, I used my highlighter in the book to make the sentences that confirm my bias
from reality. That's Bill Barr.
Yeah.
I don't know what more needs to be said.
Bill Barr, the one guys were all crying about, thinking he was going to work with Trump when Trump appointed him. You're like, no, not Bill Barr, no. And then he screwed Trump everything. Like, oh no, Bill Barr's the greatest. He's the greatest.
More I could say that is worse than that.
On the program, we have so much to get to today, but since you are such a key national security official, I do want to ask you about President-elect Trump's decision to nominate Kash Patel as FBI director. I mean, as you know, he's a fierce Trump loyalist. He has vowed to go after the deep state. You have worked closely with the current FBI director. What do you think it would mean to have Kash Patel in that role?
Sure. Well, look, I'm not going to speak to President-elect Trump's nominees. I'll let him speak for his own rationale. What I will say is how the Biden administration has approached the position of FBI director.
Fill it up with corrupt, woke individuals who toe the line, to the establishment line. I'll just save you the trouble. That's what they did. There you go.
We inherited Director Chris Wray, who has done a very good job in the role, from President-elect Trump, who appointed him to a 10-year term. And what makes the FBI director different?
Yeah, that 10-year term is going to be ending very shortly.
From most other nominees is they're not just appointed for one term of a president. They're appointed for enough time to last past two terms of a president.
You got some bad advice on that one, right? That ain't going to happen anymore. That's
President Biden scrupulously adhered to that longstanding bipartisan tradition, and for a good reason, because the FBI director should not be subject to the whims of the twos and fro's of politics. But as for the announcement yesterday or the decisions President-elect Trump has made, they'll have to speak to that themselves.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, when I listen to these people freak out and hyperventilate over Kash Patel, any of Trump's picks, they just make me more confident. Yeah, that's the right person, right? Anytime these people are losing their minds, they're upset, they're boo-hoo-whining, crying, he ain't got no experience. He's unqualified. He's a Trump loyalist. When I hear all that stuff, like, yeah. This is exactly why. This is exactly why they should be the person for the job, right? Because again, Kash Patel is going to go in there and he's going to disrupt the deep state, right? Which is the last thing that these people want. They really do not want that at all. And again, they keep talking about how the guy is unqualified when I actually believe that he is very, very, very qualified for the job. They just don't like the fact that, again, he's not an establishment bureaucrat that, they know is not going to rock the boat. And it looks like at least some Republicans early on are getting on board with Kash Patel becoming the next director of the FBI. Take a look.
I've encouraged President Trump to bring Kash Patel to the table for precisely this reason. Unlike Jake, I understand his resistance to talk about Kash, but I'm more than happy to talk about him. He represents the type of change that we need to see in the FBI. If you think about the failures of background checks that have taken place, how could we have somebody like Colin Kahl who tweeted out classified information? I went to the FBI myself. They ignored me. Basically, he was confirmed on a party line vote in the U.S. Senate with Kamala Harris, breaking the tie to put this person that should not even have a security clearance in the third most powerful position at DOD. You've got Rob Malley. I don't know how he cleared an FBI check. He's now under investigation. His ties to the Iranian influence regime that worked with him and for him. Ariane Talatabi, who is still at the DOD, should never clear an FBI background check. This entire agency needs to be cleaned out. It's not.
They're going to make all of his appointees run through mud. They're going to slow down everything to try to. It's not going to work. You're just going to expose yourself. You might as well just let it happen, because everybody who stands up and participates is going to get knocked down.
Doing its job. And if you look at what happened, the politicization that took place back in 2016, when senior leaders of the FBI collaborated and conspired to try to keep President Trump out of office. And then when he came into office, they put together this Russiagate investigation that hindered the Trump administration for the first several years. Look at 2020. Look at what happened there with the fake Hunter Biden story that the FBI leadership worked together with big tech to censor the Hunter Biden laptop that allowed President Biden to basically, fool the American public and come into office. There are serious problems at the FBI. The American public knows it. They expect to see sweeping change, and Kash Patel is just the type of person to do it.
President Trump has nominated in Kash Patel, someone who served as chief of staff at the Department of Defense, someone who served as deputy director of the NSI, someone who served as a senior staffer on the House Intelligence Committee. He was a federal prosecutor under the Obama administration, and so certainly has requisite experience for this role. I think there's no question President Trump made very clear that the Department of Justice and the FBI would be reformed if he was elected to a second term. And I think, obviously, with the selection of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, that's exactly what he's going to do. Look, I don't think the American people are interested in a revenge tour. But obviously, if people did wrong in their official capacities, then that's something they should be concerned about. But if they didn't do anything wrong, if they upheld the law, then there shouldn't be a problem. The objective here, obviously, is to reform the Department of Justice and the FBI and get it back to its mission of going after criminals. Growing up in New York, the FBI, in the aftermath of 9/11, was focused on going after terrorism. And obviously, in recent years, we've seen the FBI and the Department of Justice weaponized in a way that it has become completely political. That's not good for the American people. It's not good for our system of justice.
I don't know. I'm okay with a revenge
that Americans have in the Department of Justice and the FBI is terrible. And so, obviously, we want a system that is reformed, that works for the American people, and that prosecutes criminals. And that should be the objective and the goal of every American. And obviously, that's what my hope is as the Department of Justice moves forward under Pam Bondi and the FBI under Kash Patel.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Now, what these people are afraid of is that the FBI is going to do exactly what they've been doing right now under the Biden administration, okay? Going after political opponents, okay? Ain't it funny how that works? They're upset and they're afraid of Kash Patel leading the FBI because he may potentially go after Trump's political opponents, which is exactly what the FBI is doing now, except, again, They're just going after Democrats and their political opponents. Okay, so they're afraid of getting a taste of their own medicine. Furthermore, what they're also afraid of is Kash Patel going after the criminals, right? Some of these people who actually committed crimes, okay, who broke the law to try to go after Trump. Yeah, they're afraid of that as well too. Okay, but that's not revenge. That's justice. Okay, they want to reframe justice as revenge. If you did something wrong, if you broke the law, okay, yeah, you'll be investigated, and if charges should be brought, then charges will be brought
That's the way it goes.
against you. And hey, that's it, right? I mean, that's not revenge again. That's justice. That's what's happening. We're going to be seeking justice in this country once again.
Amen.
So don't get it twisted. The mainstream liberal media, they're trying to reframe this because they're afraid of the hammer of justice raining down on some of the Democrats in this country who have escaped that for the longest time. And also, again, they're afraid of the bureaucracy being cut down. In fact, that's what a lot of these people are afraid of. This is why they fearmonger so much about Doge. The last thing these people want, the bureaucrats want in D.C., is to lose their jobs. I was actually having a conversation this weekend about this. And a professor was telling me, he was like, yeah, well, you know, it's easier said than done, because once you start to cut from the government, you start to cut the bloat and the fat, a lot of people lose their job. And when people lose their jobs, bad things happen, right? Because they can't feed their families and things like that. Also, there's the issue of these empty buildings that are not occupied by anybody, okay, that the government's paying for. Well, landlords own those buildings, right? So once you stop paying rent for those buildings, landlords get upset and stuff like that. So he was just raising a point that people are going to be upset if this happens. And my response to that was, well, let them be upset. Let them cry about it. Let them cry about it. But the government should have never gotten this big. And if the government didn't get this big with subsidizing things that shouldn't exist, okay, which is not productive, it's not efficient, it's not good for the economy, it's not good for the American people, then, hey, it is what it is. We just going to have to make some tough cuts.
Cut them. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Great report. Again, as always, from Black Conservative Perspective, Greg Warman. Thumbs up for you. All right. Jumping over, I'm just doing some takes here, and then we're going to go on to what Kash is going to get done. And then we're going to go on to what's going on in Asia. We'll save the Biden bullshit for last, because I think what's going on in Asia is more important and interesting, actually. The takes on Biden and his corruption are well stated at this point. However, I would say that I'm not doing this at winning speed. Wow. Okay, that's why it seemed like it was a little bit slow. Yeah, but you know, I mean, to be expected. I mean, just nothing surprises me when it comes to the level of deceit and corruption. Joe Biden. I don't care what, you know, if he has a good take or not. It's like, you know, there at the end of the election, looking like he's happy Trump's winning, all that stuff. I mean, he's just he's still a scumbag. He's still a child sniffing scumbag, no matter how you frame it, right? Remember, I'll always listen to the wolf when you're here. He knows what he's talking about. Listen to that wolf. Listen to him. All right. What is T-Rex trucking anymore? You know, if you were at the show last night, T-Rex, the reading, you know that we're gonna have to talk about getting you a new name. We have to get rid of this and more. It was exposed last night what and more means. You might want to change that. We'll talk later though. I'll catch up with you after the show. Vivek said he's planning on paying them for 6 months to a year after being fired, as it's not the plebes' fault that they took a low-level job at a government agency that isn't actually needed. See, Vivek's cool like that. Vivek is cool like that, man. He'll get it done. He'll do it. All right, let's see. I haven't seen this yet. If it's a bunch of repeat shit, I'll cut it. What's this? I don't want to see what Charlie Kirk has to say. I put this in the list because I'm trying to get different takes, and I'm trying to see if some people have some different perspectives on it. Snafu, what's going on, my friend? You're just in time.
Okay, lots to cover here. I want to just kind of go deeper into what the Kash Patel nomination represents. And I want to hear from you, freedom@charliekirk.com. What do you think about Kash Patel being nominated as FBI director?
I'm very happy.
Misunderstanding that the FBI is its own branch of government, that the DOJ is its own independent agency. That is not correct. The Department of Justice and the FBI answer directly to the President of the United States. Woodrow Wilson, who won in a spoofy election in 1912 with a plurality but not a majority of votes against William Howard Taft and Teddy Roosevelt, as Teddy Roosevelt was doing the Bull Moose Party after he was upset and the direction that William Howard Taft went, became president. Woodrow Wilson ushered in a new philosophical contagion. You could call it a governmental virus into the American body politic. Woodrow Wilson believed that the form and the structure that the founding fathers put forward, the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch, those three co-equal branches of government with tension and with separation of powers, that was an antiquated model. Woodrow Wilson was the first president to vocally oppose and to speak against the founders and their intent for America. He said, we need to bring in and usher in a new way of governing. And that way he looked at was very similar to a John Dewey and Hegelian way of viewing history, but it was about creating bureaucracies that were not necessarily accountable to the executive, accountable to the legislative, but they're a council of experts. You see, Woodrow Wilson, being a college professor himself, saw this as an opportunity to be able to bring in the smart people to run government. Cass Sunstein is a modern equivalent as an inheritor of this belief. So Woodrow Wilson set up this 100-year.
It sounds like it's just subversion. It's just that's what exactly what Uri was saying. Build bureaucracy in between individuals, right? And then have that bureaucracy running everything. That's how you become. It's a demoralization process, right?
Away from the founders' vision of government. Over the last 100 years, we have seen more federal agencies be formed than Americans could list. In fact, I'm helping out with the presidential transition team wherever I'm needed, and I look at some of these agencies. I've never heard of them before. ORIRA, commissions and boards that you would like, what do these people do all day long? Why do you exist? What is your purpose? What is your task? And they couldn't even tell you. Oh, our purpose is to make sure the GBIP and the DDAP and the FT work together with the W4. Like what? And it's all this acronym speak, and it merges.
I'm a people person, damn it.
Just together in a very, very confusing way. But more importantly, is it's not what the founders intended. This is what we call the fourth branch of government. The fourth branch of government is an unaccountable, unknown, unelected bureaucracy that is against the will of the American people. And we are.
And if you dig into the ideological subversion, that is part of the plan. That's part of the Marxist plan to destroy this country from within. Again, we got to call it out at the root, right? We got to call it out at the root. And that's what that is. So even if Charlie doesn't know it yet, he's over the target when it comes to the mechanisms, at least. But if you don't go back to the source and snuff out the source, then they'll just create it again in some other way.
Going to see the greatest climax of that war, started with Woodrow Wilson, come to fruition this coming administration. The question is, who is in charge of America? Is it the people or the bureaucrats? Is it the American
we know how we want
sovereign?
It. We know how it
or
should
is it
be.
This unelected ruling class, this career civil service that runs the country? Who is in charge? Is the presidency a ceremonial role where you do ribbon cuttings, Christmas parties, host Little League baseball champions, bring the Super Bowl winner over and smile when the bureaucracy runs the government? Or does it have teeth?
Who's running it right now? It ain't Joe Biden. He's too busy partying his felons.
Have real meaning in our country? That is the open question in front of the country right now, in front of what is going to happen with this new Trump administration.
Yep. And it's all going to get exposed. And that's why they hate picks like Kash Patel.
The secret police of the fourth branch of government is the FBI. The FBI is the enforcement arm of the administrative state.
Yep. And we've been listening for many, many weeks now about how that entire our intelligence agencies got corrupted. Like we know the entire history of it now. If you've been coming to Unrig the Game and listening to a big intel with us, you know the story, right? And if you haven't, the playlist is over on Rumble. You can check it out and catch up with us, or go to Amazon right now. Maybe it's still on sale. The book was on sale 50%. Just buy the book and read it. It's a good read. It's fun. It's educational. If you fancy yourself an investigator and a truth seeker and someone who's got their finger on the pulse of what's going on, you need to read this book. It'll fill in all these gaps. So when you hear stuff like what he's talking about, you're like, yeah. But I know how I got like that, right? I know the solutions are.
The FBI was never actually chartered by Congress. It started as a Bureau of Investigation by Attorney General Charles Bonaparte and grew into now one of the most powerful organizations, one of the most unconstitutional organizations in American history. President Calvin Coolidge first appointed J. Edgar Hoover to the Bureau of Investigation in 1924. J. Edgar Hoover grew the Bureau of Investigation into the Leviathan that we know as the FBI today. J. Edgar Hoover, you have to look at this guy, and I'm not going to get into some of the alleged weird parts of his life, which are not even necessarily proven. But it's interesting. How did J. Edgar Hoover survive as FBI director from 1935 to 1972? Think about that. He was FBI director for 37 years. That is not normal. To be in charge of a country's secret police for 37 years, you better believe that he had blackmail on almost every single elected leader. And that was a strategy that he embraced. He served under FDR, served under Truman, served under Dwight D. Eisenhower, served under JFK, served under Lyndon Baines Johnson, served under Richard Nixon. Hoover expanded the FBI beyond just crime fighting, and he led the charge to make the FBI an intel agency. The FBI has never, and still to this day, does not have a congressional mandate to collect intelligence on the American people. It has a mandate to enforce laws that are currently on the books. And you can make a good argument, why does the FBI even exist in the first place? It was not part of the founders' vision to have a standing red guard that could be deployed against political dissidents, which of course is what it does today. And we all saw the pictures during Floydapalooza of FBI agents wearing masks kneeling. The FBI has become the muscle of the woke.
Yep.
The FBI was
We know how that happened too. You know, over generations of that critical theory being implemented into the universities that they are picking these people from. They all come in completely demoralized and corrupted. That's how we had to stamp out the corruption and remove the enablement for it. Get rid of that critical theory, which is just cultural Marxism with a different name. And then generationally heal this issue as we immediately take immediate actions to secure and remove these people, secure the agencies and remove these people that are in there subverting it.
One of the finest fighting forces against crime in the 70s and 80s, and even earlier than that, and has turned into a disgusting, repulsive version of its former self. President Trump appointing the very qualified Kash Patel to become FBI director.
There you go. I like the way that he framed that. Everybody just start calling him the very qualified Kash Patel. Ladies and gentlemen, the very qualified Kash Patel.
Is an attempt to realign what the FBI should be, reporting directly to the President of the United States. You see, the media believes the FBI should be its own island. Can't touch it, can't see it. They rule themselves, they govern themselves. No one can even ask questions of them. They have superseding authority over the entire federal government. This is MSNBC's reaction to Kash Patel becoming FBI director. Listen carefully to Tim Miller, play cut 30.
Is there enough backbone there, do you think, to defeat multiple nominees?
Is that who this is?
I don't know. I think it's possible. And look, we saw it with Matt Gaetz already, and I think that I was actually surprised how quickly that happened.
Tim Miller, political analyst, big fucking douche. There we go.
To me, Kash Patel, and I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our...
I can't listen to this guy again. I can't listen to him. I've heard enough of him. He's yeah. Like I said, I think he's broadcasting from his bathroom. He should be, because he's full of shit.
Now, if you listen carefully, they're talking about the independence of the FBI. Wait, hold on. Either the FBI falls under the president's jurisdiction or it does not. The FBI should not operate as an intelligence gathering service on the American people, which, by the way, is completely and totally unconstitutional. The FBI has used the Patriot Act to spy on your text messages, to look at your emails, to go after completely innocent people and be this massive information gathering service where our freedoms and our liberties evaporate. But more importantly, Kash Patel will reform the FBI and say, get out of D.C. and go after child sex traffickers. Why are there thousands of FBI agents at desks every single day? What do? If you want to keep your badge, go into the field, find the bad guys, go find drug smugglers, go find sex traffickers. Don't go after political opponents just because they have Trump Facebook posts that you don't like. What you are witnessing and what is about to unfold is a 100-year clash and battle of the Wilsonian view of government versus the founders.
All right,
we'll
let's
see
go.
who wins.
I'm
Everybody,
down
thanks
with
so
it.
much for watching.
I'm down with it. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready for some battles. I'm ready for some wins. I'm ready for these people to be gone like you wouldn't believe. Like you wouldn't believe. So, let's see. Okay, so
Cash was
this one right here is about 4 major cover-ups Kash Patel would expose as FBI director. Not very long at all, just a 4-minute little
Cash was
moment here with Glenn Beck. And then we'll take a look at this other conglomerate kind of report from Gary Franchi, but we may see a lot of repeat in there, so we might not get through most of that. And then we'll go on to the Asia conflicts. So much going on in Asia. China and India going to war, South Korea, and martial law. We gotta look into this stuff. So hang tight. Let's see what the 4 major cover-ups Kash Patel would expose as FBI director are. Let's see. Yeah, dude. Yeah. What's up with Bathroom Tim, dude? Like that guy. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared of Kash Patel. He's gonna shine a light. He's gonna make the thing work right. And then how are we gonna fuck with people then? God, dude, shut up. Go home.
Cash was on my show, and we were talking about who has the diary, who has the phone records, who has everything from Epstein.
Yeah, who has it?
Do we have that cut?
A lot of people asking
go
that
ahead,
question.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who?
Porn music.
That is that. I mean, there's
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school. We still haven't seen that, right?
Ding
it's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out.
Pizza
the FBI airmailed into that operation and said this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs.
Government
if you don't
gangsters.
cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million.
We started that
You're not
fucking
getting that's
week
a lot
from
of money
Monday.
in these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a black book.
So, but the Black Book, it's not just sitting. I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's the thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the black book.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Please,
And
I
not just
can't
that.
take
On
anymore.
day one, roll out all of the text message communications we were told were deleted.
Oh,
On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber.
Oh
yes.
He need one of the reforms I talk about government gangsters is you need a central node to be continuously declassifying. This is another thing they do. They overclassify. And I'm telling you, as a former number 2 in the IC, they overclassify 50% of the stuff there to protect the deep state. Oh no, you can't see that. Nothing to see here. Gina was a master at it, of doing it. And we still haven't seen half of the Russiagate report that we wrote.
Oh yeah.
Still under lock and key.
I
On how the ICA was originally constructed. We put 10,000 man hours against John Brennan's team that did it. And we found out why they came up with their bogus conclusion. But we couldn't sell it to the world because we couldn't talk about it. And the government gangsters came in and buried it.
Wow. Let me tell you this. I think I need a whole pack of cigarettes after that.
All right, enough of that. It's kind of
He's going to be good.
Oh.
Let's get down
and
to
that's
business.
the only reason this pardon is happening, because Kash Patel, Right. because Glenn Beck Right. likes That's him what we're so gonna hear. much that look what he's That's what we're gonna definitely hear. going to come after Hunter Biden, and therefore we didn't think we never would have predicted that Adolf Hitler would do something like this.
Here's what we need to start tweeting. Okay, everybody needs to start tweeting this. Kash Patel, we love you. We love you. Please release all of the information on the Biden administration.
Yep.
All of the information on Hunter Biden. You can't prosecute him, but you certainly can prosecute everyone that was involved in the cover-up. And by the way,
there you go. So
we'd like the names on the Jeffrey Epstein list. There's no
Let's
reason
speed this
that
up.
if that was a bunch of truck drivers, we'd know every truck driver's name. Why don't we know this?
T-Rex,
And
we better
it
not
is
see your name on there.
too much power in the hands of the FBI director or the president or whoever might have it. The only way that thing becomes powerless is if it's revealed.
There we go. Leave it at that. Perfect. Perfect ending right there. All right. So good stuff there. I think we kind of
some breaking news.
But we'll see. I hope it does. I mean, again, we all know what's coming, right? We all know what's coming. They're gonna try to do everything they can to not let this wrecking ball get into the position and change their beautifully corrupted little methodology and institution, from which they wield so much power, right? They don't want to see anything change. They don't want to see their beautiful little corruption machine go away. They can't stand it, right? They're trying to break and destroy our country. This is part of it. And every time we undo one of those things or get close to it, that's when they start to panic and they start to show up and show out. That's when you start to see them go into this certain mode. And that's when you know you're over the target. So hell yeah, Kash Patel, let's go. Let's see what else we got on Kash here before we jump over to Asia.
Entire deep state establishment trembling. Donald Trump's selection of Kash Patel as FBI director isn't just a nomination, it is a declaration of war. Now that's the picture. Dr. Clown, PhD. Ding dong, Kash Patel is at your door with this look. What do you do? Pop quiz, hotshot. What do you do? Yeah, the deep state is freaking out. Kash Patel is about to bring down fire and brimstone on the deep state. Ted Cruz is reacting now.
Patel, suggested by President Trump as the new leader of the FBI. How enthusiastic are you about that?
Listen, I think Kash Patel is a very strong nominee. I think the entire slate of cabinet nominees President Trump has put forward is very strong. I believe every one of these cabinet nominees is going to be confirmed by the Senate. I think Kash Patel is going to be confirmed by the Senate. You look at his background. He has a serious professional background. He was a prosecutor. He was a public defender. He was a senior intelligence staffer on Capitol Hill. He was a senior intelligence staffer in the White House.
He was to do it. He wrote an entire book exposing it. You should come read this book with us. We're going to read it, and it starts in 2 weeks. Government Gangsters. Oops. Government Gangsters. We'll see. Now, if he does have the balls, what are you going to do? All right. Yeah, the talking heads from the leftoid media have been hammering away on the Patel appointment. Of course they are. That's part of the game. So then they have, then the corrupt senators, the establishment politicians, when he goes for his confirmation, they have a talking points to work on, and they're gonna, and then it'll be sensationalized again through the media. It's like, so you get public outrage. The public's worried. Yeah, try to cause all kinds of division. We're just gonna get in there, get the job done, make it run better. Everybody's gonna be happy, and then they'll just shut up. It's just like, okay, look, they got a few more doors left to hide behind. That's it. Once those doors are kicked down, they're gonna be like exposed. They are worried indeed. Memento mori. They are worried. Number 3, fire. Know how to make it properly. Yes. Make fire. See, all Fox News is going to go down on the majority of Congress. All of Fox News it's going to go down and the majority of Congress. All right. First, they turned the frogs gay. Then they realized they were the frogs. It wasn't hard to do. The frogs wanted to be gay. There you go. Listen to the wolf, guys. He knows what he's talking about.
The chief of staff of the Department of Defense. He was the deputy director of national intelligence. And I got to say, all of the weeping and gnashing of teeth, all of the people pulling their hair out, are exactly the people who are dismayed about having a real reformer come into the FBI and clean out the corrupted partisans who sadly have burrowed into senior career positions at the FBI. The FBI and the Department of Justice are two institutions incredibly important to the rule of law in the United States. I revere both. And one of the most tragic consequences of 4 years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is both DOJ and the FBI have been politicized and weaponized. And I think Kash Patel is a very strong nominee to take on the partisan corruption in the FBI.
As you know, Senator, there isn't a vacancy at the top of the FBI. What should become of Christopher Wray, appointed by President Trump?
Put him in jail.
Yep.
Well, I think he'll make a choice. I think either he will resign or President Trump will fire him. But it's no secret to anybody, including Chris Wray, that he is not going to continue to serve as the head of the FBI under Donald Trump. Listen, if you look at James Comey and Chris Wray, there has never been a period in our nation's history where the FBI has suffered a greater loss of respect, where more Americans doubt the fundamental integrity of the FBI. And it's because James Comey and Chris Wray presided over allowing the FBI to become a partisan cudgel, to be used to target parents at school board meetings, to be used to target people who chose not to take the COVID vaccine, to be used to target President Trump and to target the political opponents of Joe Biden in the White House. It is tragic. That is not what the FBI is for. That is not what the DOJ is for. And I got to say, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, I think together are a very strong slate of nominees to go and restore integrity to both institutions.
Oh, yeah. Buckle up, folks, because it is coming. Kyle Seraphin, in order to boost their flagging ratings, MSNBC has turned to Tara Palmieri, a 37-year-old former gossip columnist, to comment on Kash Patel's nomination as the next FBI director.
Gossip columnist.
Gossip columnist. She's the expert now over at.
She looks like a gossip columnist, doesn't she? I've got dirt on everybody. I'm going to poison the well with my gossip.
MSNBC
tells that every nation, you have to be able to pay people. You need to be able to execute massive plans. And you know,
I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just gossip. It's just gossip.
Massive bust. It's a huge agency. It's sprawling all over the U.S. with various, offices. It's so much more complex than one.
It sounds like
I'm not smearing anybody. I'm not trying to ruin anybody. It's just gossip. I just love gossip. Jesus Christ, man.
Listen to Kamala Harris. Ukraine is a smaller country, and Russia is bigger. And Russia decided to invade Ukraine, which is bad. She's like, the FBI is big and it's all over and it has lots of departments and it's big. That's what you get when you put a gossip columnist on MSNBC to weigh in.
44-year-old former public defender who put up a memo, saying that the FBI botched the Russia hoax. So it's like, you need credentials for this kind of job.
Right. It's wild. That
you need credentials to weigh in on that, honey. Yeah.
It's gossip.
What else do we got? Okay, so Ivory Hecker. November 19th, an ex-FBI agent told CNN Kash Patel would do massive damage to the agency if Trump does appoint him as FBI director.
Yeah.
Here's a clip from earlier this year when Kash Patel told Ivory Hecker of his desire to root out FBI manipulation.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you want to root out FBI manipulation? That manipulation is there for the establishment. It's there to protect them, make sure that they're safe. How dare you do such things?
The social media. Have you been a victim?
With the FBI task, somebody should ask Elon to provide every contract Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, still has with the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation or any other government agency. Remember, Elon Musk came into power and we had to go out there and inform him that James Baker, the former general counsel of the FBI under James Comey, who authorized the unlawful FISA surveillance warrant as the top lawyer, was Elon Musk's general counsel of Twitter. He had no idea the guy was there. James Baker was the one who was meeting with the FBI task force, his old employees, on a weekly basis on behalf of Twitter. We had to inform Elon that guy was even there, and he said, no, he's not there, and then he found out he was there and fired him. Perkins Coie was doing half of the litigation for Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. We had to reveal that to Elon Musk. And so these people have seeded themselves into these institutions. I don't know that Elon Musk has enough of a grasp on the situation or bandwidth to take them on, but the one simple thing they could do is just show us the contracts, or Congress could go get them for us. It's our taxpayer money they're utilizing to have these meetings on quote-unquote election election security.
Yeah, I mean, listen to how unqualified he is. I mean, Jesus, dude, it's just so unqualified, right? I mean, he just seems to know exactly what to do to get the job done, yet he's just severely unqualified, right? You need someone more qualified to not do what needs to be done, like he's laying out right here. That's what a more qualified person would do. They wouldn't do what needs to be done to get the job done, right? We see you, you corrupt establishment. We see you. We see straight through everything you say and do. Nothing you do anymore works.
I think we need to expose this corruption.
Absolutely. We need some free speech, free press in America. Thank you so much. Kash Patel, great to have you on again.
Hey, thanks. Have a great day.
Ivory Hecker back on the Next News Network. Good to see you, Ivory. Who else is weighing in? Okay, we got Trump lawyer Mike Davis issuing a stern warning to GOP senators after full endorsement of Kash Patel for FBI director. Speaking with Benny Johnson.
He doesn't get up as a senator is to vote to confirm President Trump's qualified cabinet picks along with other senior executive branch appointees. The president doesn't get to pick your Senate staff and you don't get to pick his, right? You need to make sure that these nominees are qualified. Kash Patel
Benny, make sure.
Clearly qualified. He has been a public defender, a national security prosecutor. He got awards from the Obama Justice Department for his national security prosecution. He was a top official in the House Intel Committee. He was a top official on the White House National Security Council. He was a top official in the office of the Director of National Intelligence. He was the chief of staff in the Department of Defense. He is a competent loyalist who's going to go in to the FBI on behalf of President Trump, who got a mandate for change from the American people, all 7 swing states, 312 electoral votes, to bring serious reforms, bold reforms to the FBI. Kash is the man to do that. He is qualified. You need to vote to confirm all qualified executive branch top officials, including Kash, unless you can point to clear and convincing evidence that they're disqualified because of their personal misconduct. You're not going to be able to do that with Kash. We don't.
Yeah, but they're going to try. They're going to try and dig up something on Kash. Don't you worry. Here we have Tommy Tuberville backing Kash Patel.
There's what I've seen since I've been here. There's been way too many things that have gone wrong with our FBI. There's a lot of good people in the FBI, but it needs to be overhauled, just like the military. And I think Kash Patel will be very good at it. I've known Kash for every year since I've been up here. I've had an opportunity to sit down with him and speak about a lot of different things, military, intelligence, DOD, all the things he's been involved in. But I think Kash Patel is going to be a really good director of the FBI.
Here is Kash Patel. Now this is back to December of 23. Kash Patel says, as Trump's next CIA director, he will lead patriots appointed by Trump in an all-out effort to prosecute and jail people in government and the media. Now, this was when the speculation was perhaps he would be head of the CIA.
Producers that watch highly confident that when you go
apply this to the FBI position.
Back and is a senior member of this administration, President Trump's administration, starting in the afternoon of the 20th of January of 2025. Do you feel confident that you will be able to deliver the goods, that we can have serious prosecutions and accountability? And I want the Morning Joe producers that watch us and all the producers that watch us, this is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. We're not, you cannot have a constitutional republic and allow what these deep staters have done to the country. The deep state.
Heidi, you hear that? Constitutional republic. There you go. Oh man, that tell you what, the left really has destroyed the word democracy, haven't they? That just means rule of the people. Like when base people say democracy, they mean rule of the people, rule by the people. Right? That's what they mean. They don't mean the communist version. I know, but it is frustrating because you hear all these people out there, these Marxists abusing the word. They've been abusing it for so long. It gets so frustrating. But there you go. Constitutional republic used correctly by Steve Bannon.
The administrative state, the fourth branch of government never mentioned in the Constitution, is going to be taken apart brick by brick. And the people that did these evil deeds will be held accountable and prosecuted, criminal prosecutions. Kash, I know you're probably going to be head of the CIA, but do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators.
Highly competent.
Oh yeah, it's all coming down, folks. Finally, there was a lot of worry that Kash was not going to be appointed to this position. Well, that worry is now over. Here's a supercut of MSNBC reacting.
To me, Kash Patel, and I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy.
I can't. This is like the douchebag collection right here.
Patel as FBI director would be like if you crossed Alex Jones with J. Edgar Hoover.
Yes, he crossed Alex Jones, J. Edgar Hoover. They're like Hoover wasn't a pet. These Marxists, man. These Marxists. Oh, I want to say bad words.
In terms of just how much he would.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's great. This is music to my ears.
Right.
To ignore precedent and the constraints that have been put onto the FBI over the years.
Yeah, the sissy gloves we put on the FBI, you can take them off and throw them away.
With all of the conspiracy theorizing, all of the eagerness to fan the flames of the worst instincts of President Trump.
Where does all of this fit in with January 6th? January 6th is the juxtaposition of the Constitution.
I can see up that woman's nose and it's bothering me.
Many think it was treasonous. And for him to be one of the conspirators, this is now left to the court of public opinion because you're going to have a lot of senators, Republican senators, who are loyal to President-elect Donald Trump. And they will close an eye, turn ahead.
Does it bother anybody else to be able to see up that woman's nose like that? I didn't see a brain up there.
This is the world we're living in now, of these preposterous and yet extraordinarily dangerous picks.
So dangerous to our corruption. How are we going to maintain our corruption with these dangerous picks? This is like the worst douchebag collection right here. Douchebag is the word of the night, by the way.
Trump doing, and it's kind of strange to use this word about Donald Trump, but he's methodically appointing people who will completely destroy any limits on his power.
God, and there's douchebag again back. Please, no more Tim Miller the rest of my life, please.
Oh, it's beautiful.
No more.
Here's this. Okay, check this out. Doug Billings, 14 hours ago, when a person claiming to be a Republican issues a statement that Christopher Wray should remain director.
Let's see. We haven't heard Morning Joe. Yeah, let's go. Let's
Patel and Hegseth. This is actually.
There you go.
The moment came while MSNBC was discussing how dangerous Kash Patel's nomination was.
And this isn't just members of the media, members of the quote deep state that are concerned about people like Patel.
Bullshit. You bullshit lying motherfucker getting ready to lose your job. You're full of shit. Shut up.
And Hegseth. This is actually people around Donald Trump. They were already having concerns about Pete Hegseth before the New York.
Oh my God, they were concerned about a guy who wants to clean the military up and make it what it's supposed to be.
Times released the letter from Hegseth's mother accusing him of being a serial abuser of women. They were
he's a serial. Yeah, here comes the same old bullshit lines again. Yet you put a child sniffing pedo in the White House, and you clapped and you loved it, right? You loved it.
Already concerned that they didn't have the votes. I heard last Thursday, Hegseth is going down in the Senate, even before all of this. And now, of course, the New Yorker reporting about.
This is it. This is the pre-programming. I'm convinced we already knew this, but I'm convinced that J. Michael Waller has nailed it in his interview with Tucker Carlson. I'm just going to go with it because everything he's saying is they're doing it right now. He says, if they win, you look out. That's when it's going to start. I mean, we should watch that interview again. We really should. We should rewatch it. I did show parts of it, but it probably needs to be reseen. Maybe I'll do like rewatch Wednesdays or something, like where on Wednesday nights I'll just replay a stream I used to play at. Like I hate the fact that so many of my old streams that I did there's a lot of good information back on the old Unveiling Reality series. I mean, it's old now. It just hasn't been active for a while as active. There's a lot of good material that's back there that I would just like to bring back to I could do like a marathon Wednesdays or something where all I do all day long is like play the playlist of Unveiling Reality shows. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something to do for New Year, but I'm like, man, that's one of those shows that I'd love to do it again. I mean, but then I feel like I'm just doing the same thing again. You know, I'm showing you guys something twice, right? And to take it, you know, if I'm going to invite you over for a couple hours a night, I want to show you something new, right? I don't want to just make you rewatch old home movies, but you know, that you've seen before. But at the same time, the information in some of those shows are so pertinent, and I don't know if I should redo them or I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but maybe a rewatch Wednesday is just where I'm not even like there, right? I just play a playlist, and people that haven't seen the streams can pop in and watch them and know that they're watching something that's being replayed, but maybe they just haven't seen them before, right? And then those streams would just go on and off, like they wouldn't even stay up. You know, I'd do it for like, you know, all of Wednesday, right? You can pop in anytime. Chat's open. You can chat with your friends. See what episode's on. Oh, I've seen this one. Oh, I haven't seen this one. And I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Anyways, back to Morning Douche.
Just drunken behavior and a lot of things, again, that would serve no president well, especially
that was hilarious, Levy.
The 47th president. You can say the same thing about Tulsi Gabbard as things heat up in Syria, and she's been an apologist for Assad, a man who has killed 500,000, been responsible for the.
Here comes a smear campaign. Everything's going to be about trying to hold up and manipulate and gaslight people on these picks. It's all it's going to be about. The establishment, man. This is why what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't care. Do what you got to do to get these people in, and let's just crush these lying douchebags is the word of the night. Douchebags that are out there doing this every day, this mind control operation every day. They're lying. They're obstructing. They're lying. This is the thing that I was saying in 2016 to 18 to up to 2020. I was like, Trump has to find a way. We have to find a way to get a handle on the media, because the media does the most damage in terms of controlling the other side, the first veil establishment narrative voter base, right? And they do the biggest job on pushing for or manufacturing the consent for lawfare and for obstruction. Like, they're literally manufacturing the consent for it by repeating these narratives over and over again with douchebag and the angry, unhappy women core right here, you know? And it's just like, we have to do something to shut their mouths. Like, get your freedom of speech, that's fine, but you know, you can have your freedom of speech, but you I'm so glad that MSNBC is going down, and these I can't wait till there's a day when we don't have to listen to these douchebags, these cuckold males, and their angry, bitter wives.
Death of 500,000 Syrians. We could go down the list, and of course, as the Wall Street Journal editorial page says,
yeah, man,
again,
this is great. Let's go.
And his people around Donald
I'm
Trump
there,
now.
Jay, man. We're good. We'll do it together, man. We'll get it done.
You start a war against the press, and you start saying you're going to arrest the press. You say you're going to start arresting judges.
Yeah. You better run. You better pack your damn fucking zip down sweaters in your little bag and run. All right? Hell yeah. We're tired of you lying and manipulating and screwing people over, man. It's abuse. You're an abuser. You abuse people every day. That's what you do, Joe.
That always has a blowback effect. That sort of talk caused Republicans to lose the 2018 midterm election. It would cause, I think, even more devastating losses for the Republican Party now.
We can't have that. We can't have them protecting Christians. Joe would get very upset about that, wouldn't you, Joe?
We still are a constitutional republic, and we still have elections every 2 years.
Yeah, okay then, but you won't have a job in 2 years. Then what?
I mean, for me, this is particularly personal because my grandfather was jailed by in the House on Un-American activities. So I've seen what an FBI director going after writers looks like firsthand.
Who is this woman's dad? Does anybody know who this woman is with her particular glasses? When they became propagandists, they stopped being the press. That's right. They became subverters, abusers. They became the enemy, and they are the enemy. The rebels are Islamic terrorists. They're very odd. The rebels are Islamic terrorists. Is very odd. Winky face count. All right.
And though I wasn't alive then.
This isn't just members of...
I wasn't alive, but I know firsthand.
Yeah, I wasn't alive, but I've taken it on to be very personal so I can get up here and make an emotional moment for your awful show. I think we saw this already.
Sure you do.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, wow. They're in full meltdown mode. Here is, this was just published a couple days ago. The media
Cash talks J6 government surveillance and the deep state's activities against you, American people. They want to rob you of the truth. Yeah, we know that.
And I'll be playing all the Cash videos and going nuts. Kash Patel talks J6, government surveillance and deep state activities against the American people. They want to rob you of the truth.
A world war into Israel, our number one allies over there. Our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, our freedom of everything is at stake. And what Pelosi and these corrupt government gangsters want to do is rob you of the truth. That's been the message. There was no insurrection. They ginned it up. Pelosi was too busy filming her movie on January 6th in the halls of the Capitol. That's how scared she was of everyone.
I mean, just listening to the language that he's using.
Love it.
It is so refreshing.
Yep.
Knowing that somebody of his caliber with his rhetoric is going to be placed into a position of authority over that entire FBI apparatus.
So tired of the
This is
liars.
beautiful. My goodness.
Outside, and we know what she said.
Say that again. Say that again. I remember that from the book. Say that again. That's a huge deal.
Right, Levy?
Right. and this is what the deep state does. They buried it. Nancy Pelosi on January 6th was recording a movie she, as speaker, was making. And in it, she said on video, I'm responsible for the security failures of January 6th. And the January 6th committee withheld that information for 3 years, as did she, and she lied about it. We've got the receipts from Bowser in the book, her own letter, where Mayor Bowser rejects Donald Trump's authorization of additional National Guard. And that's just January 6th.
Yep.
You got to remember, these guys, Christopher Wray, illegally surveilled Americans in the FISA court 274,000 times in 1 year. That's not my number. That's the FISA court's number, because during
Go over that again. A lot of people don't even know what that term is. Surveilled. Go over that real slow-mo to show the people that their liberties are at stake here. What is this surveilled thing?
Hey, every one of you got one of these. Everybody's got one. And when the Justice Department surveils you, like I did as a national security prosecutor lawfully, they tap into your phone. They tap into your email. They go get your bank accounts. They get your shopping records. They get your credit card statements. They even sometimes look at your actual mail. That's total surveillance. And that's what the FISA court allows you to do. I used to use it to manhunt terrorists and people who wanted to do harm to the United States of America. Christopher Wray and these corrupt government gangsters use it to surveil their political opponents. Of those, here's the thing you might not know. Of those 274,000 illegally surveilled Americans by Chris Wray's FBI, do you know how many were working political campaigns? 40,000.
No.
40,000 campaigners and donors. That's not my number. It's in the FISA court report.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about abuse of power. and it's all going to come crashing down.
Crashing
The
down, baby.
meltdowns are severe. Here is more.
Oh God,
with
no.
This guy, Tim Miller,
No.
MSNBC political analyst.
No. I
Here
will give
is,
no more
back
time
in April,
to Tim Miller.
rumors that Kash Patel could be named Attorney General. MSNBC host goes into meltdown. And
Yeah,
then plays
that
a clip
didn't
of Kash on the war room threatening to charge the media.
Oh, please do.
But what
Show me
jumped out as potentially the most
see
alarming
this.
detail
This
was
will-
that
this will be
within
nice.
the actual Trump campaign, the person whose name is being floated to be Trump's Attorney General of the United States
No more Tim
to
Miller.
run the Justice Department is this guy.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
no.
again, they're gonna show you Kash Patel. However, we all know it was originally Matt Gaetz, and now it's Pam Bondi. So obviously, keep this all in perspective. But you need to
Perspective.
apply what they're saying here to his position now as appointed by FBI. Just keep that into the perspective.
Yep.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens,
Yes.
who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections.
Yes.
We're going to come after you, whether it's
Yes.
criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah,
Yes.
we're putting you all on notice.
Yes.
That is Kash
Yes,
Patel,
and I'm
the former
shitting my pants right now. You can't tell, but I am.
chief of staff to Trump's Secretary of Defense, a man who is apparently on the short list for Attorney General if Donald Trump retakes office.
Yeah.
Now, Trump has not been shy.
So they are so terrified
Love
of this guy. They are so anytime like you see the pushback in the media, it's because they are protecting the game. They are circling the wagons of the establishment and trying to protect it. That's what the media does.
About his desire to weaponize the DOJ and use it to go after his enemies. And we should probably take him at his word about that. I do think he is serious.
Yeah, he is.
But don't just take it from me. Last month, Trump announced that all of the January 6th committee members should go to jail. And today, the LA Times interviewed some of those members to ask how seriously they were taking those threats. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren said, one thing I learned on the committee is to pay attention and listen to what Trump says because he means it.
That's right.
Good.
If he intends to eliminate our constitutional system and start arresting.
Oh my God, he's going to eliminate the constitutional system because he's a constitutionalist, and that's what constitutionalists do. They want to eliminate the Constitution. Yeah, that's the great double speak there, Orwellian nightmare. I mean, come on. Ron Paul wanted to get rid of the Constitution too. Yeah, that's what constitutionalists do. They want to get rid of it. They don't, it's not our brave and bold, wonderful Democrat establishment, crooked, globalist pieces of crap that have been subverting it for our entire lifetime, subverting it to where it's useless. They want to hand over our sovereignty to a globalist system and bend the knee to Agenda 2030. Yeah. That's not eliminating our constitutional system, but actually trying to reform the system and get the corruption out. That's what it is, right? Going after people who have committed crimes, who've really committed crimes and committed treason against the country, who've lied to the American people. Yeah, that's what that is. Tell us more. Oh, demoralization agent.
Arresting his political enemies, I guess I would be on that list.
I guess what it means would be scared for me. What about me?
But that's exactly what they did to him.
Right?
How many charges did they throw up against Trump? Arresting political enemies. That's exactly what they did.
Exactly.
Retribution is a bitch, honey.
We also interviewed Congressman Adam Schiff, who Trump has made one of his top political enemies. Schiff told the Times that he is having real-time conversations with his staff about how to make sure he stays safe if Trump follows through on his threats.
Oh no, how many
the danger here?
I got so many crimes to worry about. There's skeletons falling out of my closet everywhere.
Okay.
Is apparently very real.
Yeah, it's very real. How you gonna stay
You
safe?
quit your job and leave the country. There you go. That's the only way you can do it. So you better start today.
Well, if you don't start all these illegal and fake witch hunts, you got nothing to worry about. But you guys were playing fast and loose with the law. And there's a consequence when you do that.
Yeah, you thought you were going to get away with it, didn't you?
Staying safe is it's really like, okay,
We're
if you get
coming for
prosecuted
ya.
for something, it's because you did something wrong. So buckle up.
We're going to do
because
it.
Justice is
We're
coming.
going to do it correctly.
Okay. However,
we're going to make America great
mind
again
that
and honest
Joe Biden-
again. Let's make America honest.
Think about this. What if Joe Biden just decides to start pardoning, throwing out pardon after pardon to all these people that Trump has declared that he would go after? Oh, imagine that.
You know, it would be up to us, I guess.
Kash Patel would be completely neutered of his ability to go after these people. Pam Bondi would be completely neutered in her ability to create investigations from the Department of Justice if Biden goes and pardons a lot of these deep state swamp rats.
And the Biden administration is doing something about it. Right before Trump's potential future Attorney General Kash Patel told Steve Bannon that he would use the government to go after Trump's enemies, Patel laid out what he thinks would need to happen within the government to empower him. He'd have to clean house.
Do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them.
This is worth listening to twice.
Excuse me. The one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom.
Well, today the Biden administration issued a new rule, an attempt to Trump-proof the White House. The rule strengthens job protections for federal workers so Trump can't just clean house and replace everyone in the executive branch with MAGA hat-wearing Trump supporters. So yes, Trump can still try to go after his enemies, and he could still try to Kash Patel as the Attorney General to do so. But that Attorney General would have a much harder time going full banana republic if the people actually carrying out the work under him were career government workers and not political stooges.
Listen to what she just said.
That's the mainstream press.
Right?
And
listen to what she
let's
just
be
said.
clear. It's not Trump going after his political enemies. He is going after criminal elements within the government who are abusing their power.
They know that. They know
just
that.
happen to put Trump in their crosshairs. And in some cases, quite literally. Oh yeah. We've even got Jamie Raskin saying he hasn't seen any proof the FBI has been weaponized against a political party. Yeah, he actually said this.
FBI around. Do you think there are any issues inside the FBI around politicization, as many who voted for Donald Trump seem to say?
Well, undoubtedly, if you look at it historically, for example, during the COINTELPRO period, the FBI really was weaponized against Dr. King and the civil rights movement and the peace movement.
We know the truth about that, too.
Decades of the FBI being basically used as a political instrument. There's an interesting book about that, about J. Edgar Hoover by Beverly Gage, and people can look at. I mean, and so
like him
I haven't seen what the proof is that the FBI has been weaponized against a political party or the Department of.
I don't know. I saw it on CNN when they raided Mar-a-Lago. I mean, that was it right there. I mean, what maybe he missed that clip on the news that evening.
Justice, of course, this Department of Justice has brought charges against a Democratic U.S. Senator in New Jersey, a Democratic congressman in Texas. And so some people just seem to think that it should go only in one direction. And if it doesn't, then somehow it's politicized. And I think that's what they mean when they talk about politicization in the deep state. I mean, the deep state has ever defined it. Apparently, it just means anybody who doesn't do the will of Donald Trump.
Listen to the cope. Listen to the cope from this guy. Yeah, you're part of it. You know it. They're coming after us. Oh yeah, we're gonna come after all the corrupt people like you. Exactly. Another moron. Yes, Riskin. That guy. Oh yeah. Oh, the deep state. Right? Oh, the deep state. This guy. Yeah, he's scared. He's going to be one of the ones that trying to obstruct, of course. Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, wow. And yes, another legal note has been presented on The View.
I see you over there.
I have a very quick statement.
It's not going to be that quick.
Pete Hegseth has denied any wrongdoing. His lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. No charges were ever brought.
You rushed me for that? We'll be right back.
Yeah, that's the View. More legal notes. Here we have, in covering Trump's nomination of Kash Patel, the FBI, MSNBC has been running a chyron reading Trump pick for FBI director pushed conspiracy theories. This is an odd characterization, given that Patel is best known for debunking a conspiracy theory push nonstop by MSNBC.
Yep.
DC Drano pointing out, I don't think people realize what Kash Patel will do as FBI director. The client list of a certain guy that didn't do something to himself, released. Diddy party list, release.
Yep.
Deep state criminals indicted. Human trafficking cartels dismantled. It's going to be biblical. And now we have this. A Democrat House staffer for Congressman Joe Morale has been arrested at the Capitol after security found ammunition, including 4 magazines, 11 rounds in the bag he was carrying inside. What were you planning on doing? We're also learning that Bernie Sanders is now vowing to support Doge, at least in one cost-cutting area. And Elon Musk thinks it's pretty cool. MJ Truth Ultra, are they really that dumb?
Bernie's like, you screwed me twice. You made me take the knee.
Committee, we already have an FBI director, and his term doesn't expire until 2017. Donald Trump can't be allowed to hire and fire FBI directors just because they failed his loyalty test.
Oh, he sure can. He sure can. He sure will.
Well, buckle up, because history is about to change.
Yep.
Mario points out 7 hours ago, all the Democrats and Rhino Republicans that are complaining about Kash Patel are corrupt politicians. Otherwise, they would be great with the decision. They stand to lose money from the under-the-table donations that want favors from them. Go Trump, their corruption shows. Leading report. 1 day ago, Elon Musk affirms he will politically oppose any Republican senator who does not vote to confirm Kash Patel as FBI director. Trey Gowdy says, we wouldn't know about the Steele dossier if it wasn't for Kash Patel.
Exactly. That's Kash's biggest claim to fame right there, is that he exposed the Steele dossier as a fraud, as Russian disinformation the Democrats, the establishment, were pushing like you wouldn't believe, right?
Oh, Trey Gowdy endorsing the appointment.
Public defender, unique, worked elbow to elbow with Kash, former federal prosecutor, former federal public defender, a unique background. Yeah. I think he has been unfairly maligned. He'll have a confirmation hearing, and we shall see what comes out. But we wouldn't know about the Steele dossier if it weren't for Kash Patel.
Think about that for a second, right? Aaron Darty. Vivek Ramaswamy has set the expiration date for the Department of Government Efficiency for July 4th, 2026. Yes, Doge is going to delete itself. And we have this, rumors that Kash Patel could be named attorney.
I mean, that's great and all, but don't we need to keep doing that no matter what? I'd like to understand why we can't continue with the Department of Government Efficiency forever. Maybe that's just because we don't want more government. I don't know. I have a feeling that if we do have to sunset it, we'll have to sunrise it again at another point. But we'll see. I'm listening. My mind's open.
General by Trump. This is back in April. Of course, we covered that point. Chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senator Durbin, Tricky Dick Durbin from my state, claims that President Trump can't fire and replace the current FBI director, Christopher Wray.
He will.
He must be allowed to serve his full term until 2027. Okay, and then what happens when Trump says, I expect your resignation on my desk at noon on the 20th, right? What happens then?
Exactly.
Buckle up, folks. Buckle up, because the hammer of justice is about to fall, and it's going to fall hard.
Hell yeah.
And this is going to be the look that they're all going to be seeing
in Asia
when the knock comes at their door and Kash Patel's FBI is in charge.
Thank you, Gary. Awesome report there. Lucifer the Doberman, how's it going? Good to see you. Hillary literally paid almost $1 million to make the Steele report. How is that not a crime? Exactly. How is that not a crime? Because they are the corrupt establishment, and they do whatever they want to. At least they used to. That's getting ready to change, right? We're not putting up with their shit anymore. End of story. End of story. I listened to an interview that with Kash that resulted in many revelations and insights. I think it was Sean Ryan. Yeah, Sean Ryan interview is awesome. And like I said, we're going to be reading his book starting a week from Monday. Monday, we'll be wrapping up Big Intel by J. Michael Waller, a phenomenal book. You can get it for half price right now. I believe you can still get it for half price on Amazon. Let me check. Let's say Amazon. Let's see, Big Intel. J. Michael Waller book. Yes, you can get it for $15.80 right now. You have not gotten it yet. Pick that book up. It's phenomenal. Read that book. But our next book, Government Gangsters by Kash Patel, is coming up very shortly. I hope each and every one of you that are interested in the topic will be part of the read. It's a lot of fun reading books together with you guys. It really is. This will be our 5th book. So I'm pushing the Unrig the Game show because I love reading these books, and I love having friends there. We can all read them together and talk about them, though I just generally let the book run. But we talk about it, and then we watch interviews afterwards with the author themselves. That's a new format. So we'll be doing that, much more on that, especially with Kash coming in as our FBI director. He's going to make the FBI real again, I guess. He's going to make it function again and make it uncorrupted. And God, we've needed this for so long. All the pieces are falling into place, ladies and gentlemen, as we secure our constitutional republic from the corrupt establishment. If you're here, you're part of the solution. If you're awake, resisting, and awake, aware, and resisting, you are the anti-establishment. We are going to take down that corrupt establishment as soon as possible. All right, we got some political stuff coming up here. And I believe that's going to round out pretty much the evening for us. Let's see, the one thing that we can't talk about in the interim here, I was going to save this for last, but really it's about, let me see. What do I have a quick one on this one? Well, we all know, right? We all know that that Joe Biden has pardoned his son Hunter. Actually, I think I can still say that for the end. So I'm going to save that for the end because I really want to get into the Asia story because this is pretty important. But I do have to cover all 3 of the topics in the subject line tonight. So in order to do that, we have to get onto our next topic. So we're going to start with South Korea today because this just broke. Let me make sure I got this on winning speed. All right, cool. All right. So South Korea President Yoon declares martial law, slams domestic opponents. What's going on in South Korea? It's important to understand what's going on in the world around us. Indeed. If you guys haven't heard this will be interesting. Simple Prepper, what's up? How you doing? Hey, yeah, just hang out with us now and catch up on the rest later. We just covered the Kash Patel stuff. So you're right on time for the next segment here. So hang with us. All right. Oh, you got to go? Take care, Scott. Good to see you, man. I'll be back Thursday night with another edition of Winning 2024. So hope to see you then. But thank you so much for being here. Awesome to see Scott hanging out with us now. Another great patriot helping to be part of the solution. All right. So here we go. Let's get into it. What's going on in South Korea?
We've got major breaking news coming out of South Korea. The president there has declared martial law, and we've got images of what appears to be police or military clashing with citizens. The rules that they've implemented are sweeping. South Korean parliament has now voted unanimously to shut down the martial law. This is pretty crazy. Now, I am no expert on South Korean politics at all, so I can only give you a cursory glimpse of the news that we are seeing. But I will say, when you pull up the political positions of this president, which, again, may not reflect accurately, they call him the Donald Trump of South Korea. This I find particularly fascinating. Now, it may all be propaganda and BS. And so I say this at the start of the segment. I don't know. Right now, there's a lot of conservatives that I see are saying, wow, what a terrible move. You can't do this. It's dictatorial powers and all of that. And certainly I agree with you don't come out and shut down the press and take things over, all that. That being said, it doesn't mean that he's completely wrong. I honestly don't know. And so when I look at how the media has handled a Donald Trump scenario for us, where they lie about everything he's doing and claim he's going to use the military against his own citizens, I'm just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And I don't know what to believe. Just because a man has done this thing doesn't mean I'm going to instantly say it's all wrong and he's terrible. According to the president, he's trying to resist communist forces. Sure, it could be nonsense. He's saying that the opposition party are North Korea sympathizers and they are oppressing the people and they're trying to stop the Free Republic of South Korea, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe he's right. I don't know. I don't live in South Korea. The left in this country is, of course, going to say, then you're supporting fascism, Tim, because he's declaring martial law. Martial law exists for functional reasons. Now, I certainly don't think this is the appropriate way to handle things. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, while he certainly should not try and shut down politics and speech in the media in this country, what I am saying is that is wrong. I am also saying maybe there really is a nefarious element on the other side. I have no idea. So criticize him for this move for sure. But I don't know enough about South Korean politics to determine who is good or who is bad. Right? A lot of people want to immediately jump up.
Forever in this country, we've been talked when it comes to martial law, the talk of martial law, it's always been people like us talking about the deep state doing it, talking about the establishment doing it. Never has it been the other way around, right? Until true opposition came into focus. And then they invert reality and project what they would do onto them. So let's dig deeper into this. But I thought the whole talk about martial law, it's there for a reason. It just depends on who uses it and how they use it. If your country is being taken over from the inside by communists, you may need to use martial law. Just depends on the situation. It's not like it's just one thing and anybody uses it as some kind of authoritarian or some kind of fascist, right? Because like I said, up until recently, the idea of martial law has always been coming from patriots talking about the establishment doing it in order to collapse the country into a globalist technocracy, right? In order to surrender our sovereignty, in order to get rid of the Constitution. That's always been the narrative. It's never been coming from the establishment narrative that, that the anti-establishment is going to use martial law in a fascist manner. That's just their new code. That's their new way to try to hold on to power. That's all it is. So let's see what's going on in South Korea here.
Up and just assert that they're on one side or the other. And I'm like, honestly, I have no idea. But let's read the news. And we'll break down exactly where we're at with this martial law declaration. South Korea President Yoon declares martial law slams domestic opponents. Reuters reports President Yoon Suk on Tuesday declared martial law in a surprise late-night TV address, slamming domestic political opponents and sending shockwaves through the country. Yoon said opposition parties had taken the parliamentary process hostage. He vowed to eradicate shameless pro-North Korean anti-state forces and said he had no choice but to take the measure to safeguard constitutional order. Yonhap News Agency cited the military as saying activities by parliament and political parties would be banned and that media and publishers would be under the control of the martial law command. Yet don't look.
I mean, are they into North Korea there now? Have they subverted South Korea to the point where they think that, North Korea is cool? How can they be against trying to get North Korean influence out of their country? I don't understand that at all.
Like a good guy when you do that. But I got to stress, what do we see in this country with our corporate press? So don't come to me and defend their media apparatus simply because there's another bad guy on the scene. I'll stress it again. Sounds like a bad guy in shutting down the press. Agreed. I'm not going to defend the press either, though. If the issue is two crackpot wingnuts are fighting with each other, I can call them both bad guys. I don't trust corporate press by default. You don't get to come to me and say, but the media is the important fourth. Shut up. Okay. This country. Okay. Our media has devolved and maybe always was a bunch of vile scumbag liars. Right. Now, I certainly don't think the way you handle it is doing this. This is bad and scumbaggery as well. But you know what? I got to tell you, conflict. So you can sit here and can say, I think one side's right, one side's wrong, all you want.
Yeah, but he's putting his own filter on that, isn't he? We don't know what the degree of what's going on over there. He said himself, he's no expert in Korean politics. Neither am I. But if they've gone to this point, maybe they're worried about the subversion. Maybe they're attacking the subversion directly, right? I mean, would it strike anybody as surprising that North Korea has been trying to do the same tactics that all Marxist authoritarian regimes use, right, to subvert the sovereign free countries, to exploit their free press. I mean, and we don't understand the nature of this. So I'm not going to rush to judgment and say this is a bad move. Oh my God, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Right? Maybe this is the way that it has to be handled there. I just want the details, right? I just want to hear the details. And you know what? If he's shutting down a bunch of communist propaganda, and this is the only way to get it done in a country like South Korea, then that's what he's got to do. If he's trying to save his country, I mean, at some point, you have to realize we're at war. Hey, Dana, how you doing? Good to see you popping in here. Glad you got off work and came here to hang out with us. But look, this is the thing that escapes everybody because they're sitting in their comfy houses, right? And they go to work every day and they can go to the store and buy stuff. And we're in a state of war. We've been in a state of war. We were born into a state of war. It's just that talk about archetypes, right? Is that when you say the word war, you're thinking military conflict. And that's not all war is. In fact, it's only the last little tiny percentage of war. Most of it is non-kinetic. There's a foreign force, and it's weird to say foreign because it's being done through Americans, right? Through people with American citizenship. But it's a foreign ideology that's trying to take over and destroy our country. That is war. We've always been in a state of war in this country, and it just hasn't gone hot. And because it hasn't gone hot, people can't wrap their heads around the fact that it's war. So I don't know. Maybe we need a new word for it. Maybe we need to reframe it like the way they do with UFOs and global warming. And every time they need to reframe something, they just create a new word for it. Maybe we need a new word for this that people could be like, oh, that's serious, because they don't think that we're really at war, but we are. There's a corrupt force that's trying to destroy our country. We see all the symptoms, we see all the signs, we see all the results of that. Just because it's not one army versus another army does not mean it's not war. We're at war. They're obviously at war. They've been at war. They separated their damn country into North and South. I mean, do you think that war ever really stopped? Oh yeah, we'll just leave each other alone now. Okay. Yeah, like the authoritarians still don't want South Korea. Like they still don't want to subjugate those people. Right? But they're still like trying to subvert them and say like, "Oh, your country is oppressive. You're the oppressed, and the oppressors are after you. So you better hook up with the North Koreans because that's the way you get out of freedom." I mean, I don't even understand. I can't even imagine how you would convince a South Korean that living like the North Koreans is a good idea. Like I can't even understand how you would even get that far. But let's continue with the story. I'm just pointing out that the framing of war in most people's minds, I'd say the majority of the world population's mind, is very narrow in scope, and that we've been in a state of war our entire lives. It's just that now that we have true opposition, right, fighting back, we have enough people at the tipping point to fight back against the subversion, right? The silent, we can call it Cold War, you can call it a silent war, whatever you want to call it, right? We have enough people that are awake, aware, and resisting now that we're pushing back to the point that is starting to expose itself on all levels. And that's what the people in this crowd, the smart people, these awake people, these aware people in this crowd understand. But most people don't. And there's still people that are, even if they have a big voice like Timmy here, that don't get the idea that, Timmy, you're in a state of war already. I know he's like, I'm waiting for civil war. You already have civil war. It's already going on. It's like, this is the thing I said a long time ago. I think I did a stream on it saying Tim doesn't understand what war is. Right. And then somebody got all mad at me about it. And I was like, no, like, what do you, and they confronted me in Discord, like this guy's not around anymore, and I was like, okay, let's talk about it. And so we got on the voice call and we talked about it. I was like, what do you think war is? Like, bang, bang, blah, 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 blah. I was like, no, that's not what it is. It's the framing of it. That's your high school education talking, right? Like when I say the word war, images pop in people's minds. It's automatic. It's your recall system, right? To analyze and understand the word that I'm saying. But for most people, it's helmets and guns and trenches and tanks and airplanes and bombs and bullets. That's what they think war is. That's the only thing they think of as war. They don't think of it as a cerebral war, right? That most people don't understand that there's a difference, right? So, when you frame things like that, Tim, you need to understand, you need to broaden your understanding of what warfare means. Vietnam, people like J. Michael Waller, he understands what war is. And people that are involved in the intelligence agencies and have been involved in the subversive elements of war, Yuri Bezmenov, they understand it, right? But still, people that are out there are going to give you some takes on this, don't understand that though there's always a war kind of raging against freedom. And in order to fight that, we have to be more aware and we have to be more intelligent about it and understand how it works. And that's why I recommend this idea called solution culture, right? Where we're putting in preventative measures on a generational level to arm young minds that one day will be adult minds with the tools to resist subversion, because that's the other element of war that most people don't understand is going on. That's then you can roll that into like what he may call a culture war, right? I don't even know what that really means to him, right? But there is that cultural aspect of warfare that's going on, and how you resist that. But you have to go back to the main ideology that's pushing it and go against that. And you have to understand how that ideology and subversion actually works on the mind, right? The psychological warfare that is ideological subversion. And in order to resist that, you have to take away what enables it, right? The lack of the ability to understand logic and understand a true premise versus a false premise. The lack of understanding about what fallacies are, right? So they can get you with fallacies. They can emotionally manipulate you and manufacture your consent. That's the work we need to do to completely eliminate psychological warfare. Then we can actually really truly live in peace and freedom, because when those attacks come at us, we resist it, we remove the enablement for it, we no longer participate in it, right? That's the idea. Then you can get to that next level of civilization, right? Until we solve the psychological warfare issue, which is really what solution culture does, right? It's preventative measures on a generational basis, right? That's the ideas I'm proposing, and from through this channel, as we unrig the game, right? We unrig the game for good. But anyways, let's continue with this. And I just want to point that out. Like, we don't understand what's going on in Korea, and we definitely can make a pretty intelligent, educated guess that they're under a psychological warfare attack.
I say, well, welcome to conflict. Everybody's going to make an assertion, and they're going to fight for power, and whoever wins, wins. History is written by the victors. They're going to say, Yoon did not cite any specific threat from the nuclear-armed North, instead focusing on domestic political opponents. It's the first time since 1980 that martial law has been declared in South Korea. South Korea has had a series of authoritarian leaders early in its history, but has been considered democratic since the 1980s. The Korean won was down sharply against the U.S. dollar. A central bank official said it was preparing measures to stabilize the market if needed. Finance Minister Chow Sang-mok had convened an emergency meeting among top economic officials, his spokesman said in a text message. Yoon's predecessor, Moon Jae-in of the Democratic Party, said in a post on X, the country's democracy is in crisis. I hope the National Assembly will act quickly to protect our democracy from crumbling. And right there, I'm just like, I don't believe them. I don't believe any of these people when they say our democracy. I am traumatized.
Who do they sound like? They sound like the establishment here. So no doubt beholden up the ladder to the globalists, pushing the cultural Marxism in through the mask of virtue, through the mask of democracy, right? No doubt. That's the tell. Now you know how far you've come. Now you know how far you've come in your knowledge and your understanding of the world. When you can hear that and you can see that, you can totally trace it all the way back to where it is and what it is and what the agenda is throughout. So yeah, he's definitely facing the same type of opposition we're facing here in this country.
By the deep state media apparatus saying our democracy over and over again while they spat in our faces. So forgive me. I'm not saying the president is right to do any of this. Say 50 million times. But I think they're not going to get any sympathy from me. Sorry, I'm not here to take sides. He wrote in a post, I asked the people to join forces to protect and save democracy and to help the National Assembly function normally. The U.S. is in contact with the South Korean government and is monitoring the situation closely, a White House spokesperson said. Some 20,500 U.S. troops are stationed in South Korea to guard against the North. A spokesman for the U.S. military command did not answer repeated phone calls. Japan's prime minister's office could not immediately be reached for comment outside of business hours. Yoon slams parliament. Quote, I declare martial law to protect the Free Republic of Korea from the threat of North Korean communist forces, to eradicate the despicable pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness of our people, and to protect the free constitutional order. Yoon did not immediately specify who constituted the pro-North Korean anti-state forces, but he has cited such forces in the past as hindering his agenda and undermining the country. He did not say in the address what specific measures will be taken. Yonhap reported that the entrance to the parliament building was blocked. Tanks, armored personnel carriers, and soldiers with guns and knives will rule the country, Lee Jae-myung, leader of the opposition Democratic Party, which has the majority in parliament, said in a live stream online. The economy of the Republic of Korea will collapse irretrievably. My fellow citizens, please come to the National Assembly. Yoon cited a motion by the country's opposition Democratic Party. They keep saying opposition Democratic Party. You don't need to just stop with the, I can't stand that. Qualifiers. They say the Democratic Party has a majority in parliament this week to impeach some of the country's top prosecutors and its rejection of a government budget proposal. Our parliament has become a den for criminals. It has paralyzed the administrative and legal systems by ramming through legislations and is attempting to overthrow.
That's like exactly what's going on here, you know, and no doubt the Marxist element behind the Democratic Party in South Korea is China. Probably China. I mean, they say North Korea, right? Could be North Korea. But it seems to me China pulls all the strings over there.
Our democratic system. South Korea's ministers on Monday protested the move by the opposition DP last week to slash more than 4 trillion won from the government's budget proposal. Yoon said the action undermines the essential functioning of government administration. South Korea's opposition parties held a rally on Saturday calling Yoon to accept a special prosecutor investigation on allegations of fraud against the First Lady. The latest such protests by the party and civic groups in recent weeks against Yoon. In October, North Korean propaganda leaflets, apparently carried by balloons, were found scattered on the streets of Seoul, including some making personal attacks on Yoon and the First Lady. The Reuters daily briefing newsletter provides all the news you need to start your day. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just, I'm too wired in. I'm reading their promos now. I'm sitting here as I'm reading this, just thinking to myself, what if Donald Trump actually says, you know what, let's say it's 2027, let's say 2027. Democrats are in Congress. They're blocking everything that's going on. And Donald Trump says, we cannot allow this. And then calls for maybe not martial law, but some kind of action to what if he adjourns Congress and shuts him down? He has the authority to do so in certain circumstances. Would y'all immediately just believe that Democrats like Adam Schiff have your best interest at heart? So that being said, while I certainly disagree with strong moves like this because it undermines your credibility and it's a weak position to be in, conflict is conflict. You know, I wouldn't call it civil war or anything, but conflict is conflict. Right?
You should call it that.
If this South Korean president wins control, and he's got police forces, and they're acting on his behalf. Apparently, there's videos. I think we have some of these videos. Let's pull some of this stuff up. So there's Parliament. They're the official. Here we go. Take a look at this. Ali London says Korean military helicopter lands on the roof of Parliament.
And they're
I am not
chanting in
going to
unison.
immediately just side with
How about
protesters or Democratic Party. I don't care
I'm
if their
not
name is the
gonna side
Democrats or
with any
whatever.
protesters
I'm not going to
at
immediately
all,
side with anybody.
ever.
We have seen far left extremists protest in the street and firebomb buildings. They were wrong. They are wrong. They're wrong all the time. And the right rarely protests. So we see these videos and we see actions by the government. And what would you do and what would you say in the event? And I'm not saying this guy's right. I want to clarify this strongly. What would you do if someone like Adam Schiff organized a group to shut down Donald Trump's cabinet and bar administration and bar the criminal prosecutions of people we know committed crimes? What would you do? Man, I have no idea. Now, Parliament has voted to lift the president's martial law declaration. Now, what's fascinating here is, let me grab the official rules. This is Ali London's got the full rules here. Saying, to safeguard liberal democracy and protect the safety of all people against anti-state forces threatening to overthrow the Republic of Korea, the following measures are declared nationwide effective December 3rd, 2024. All political activities, number one, all political activities, including the operation of the National Assembly, local councils, political parties, political associations, assemblies, and demonstrations, are strictly prohibited. Two, any act that denies or seeks to overthrow the liberal democratic system, including the dissemination of fake news, manipulation of public opinion, and false propaganda, is prohibited. All media and publications will be subject to the control of the martial law command. Strikes, work slowdowns, and gatherings that incite social disorder are forbidden. 5.
Cooking through these. Let's see anything see all political activities, including the operations of the National Assembly, local council, political parties, political associations, assemblies, and demonstrations are strictly prohibited. Any act that denies this is why this is interesting is because we could see similar language. So I'm very interested with how they roll this out, right? Any act that denies or seeks to overthrow the liberal democratic system, including the dissemination of fake news, manipulation of public opinion, and false propaganda, is prohibited. So basically outlawing subversion. And liberal, they're using the word liberal as free democratic system, right? all media and publication, again, like the left here in our country has really like just shit on some words and destroyed the meanings of words to the point where seeing words like liberal democratic is offensive to people like us. So I try to read through it and remember that, definitions, the true definitions of words, and people will use those from different places and different walks of life differently. 3, all media and publications will be subject to the control of the martial law command. 4, strikes, work slowdowns, and gatherings that incite social disorder are forbidden. All medical professionals, including resident doctors currently on strike or absent from medical duties, must return to their work and perform their responsibilities within 48 hours. Violators will be dealt with under martial law. Measures will be implemented to minimize inconvenience for ordinary citizens, except for anti-state forces and those attempting to overthrow the system. We don't see that the problem is we don't want things to get to this point in our country, but they're going to force people into this. They're going to try to force it this far. The establishment will try to make things go this far. And so then you look like a bad guy when you really are opposing them. Right. And I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just saying, Tim makes a good point leading up to this. Like, what if they obstruct so much and they get so vehement with their mechanisms, like this, like the media and so on, that the only way to subdue it is some kind of similar actions. It's the next. It's an elevated state, right? It's the next step. It's the next step. 6, measures will be implemented to minimize. Okay, we said that. Violators of this proclamation will be subject to arrest, detention, and search and seizure without a warrant under Article 9 of the Martial Law Act. Special measures by martial law commander and punished under Article 14. All right, this is very interesting. Well, I'm gonna let him finish reading. I just wanted to slow it down for you guys.
All medical professionals, including resident doctors currently on strike or absent from medical duties, must return to their work and perform their responsibilities within 48 hours. Violators will be dealt with.
I have it on winning speed.
Measures will
but
be
he just sped himself
for
up.
ordinary citizens, except for anti-state forces and those attempting to overthrow the system. Violators of this proclamation will be subject to arrest, detention, and search and seizure without a warrant under Article 9 of the Martial Law Act. Special measures by the Martial Law Commander and punished under Article 14 of the Martial Law Act penalties. Let me just point out.
Okay.
Number 1, he's suspended the National Assembly. So when they vote to overturn this, he's already shut them down. I'm not saying he actually can. This is confident. In the end, all that matters is force and who can pull it off. If the military sides with the president and they say, this is what the law is supposed to be, martial law for these reasons, then ain't no parliament going to turn nothing off.
Yeah.
This is the scary point, my friends. For South Korea, this is the point at which the people who control the force of violence simply say, I agree or I disagree. The question will be, who does the military side with? That's it. The president's going to say, shut them down. Parliament says, shut him down. And the police and the military are going to say, let's figure out which way to take this.
Huh.
It's scary stuff.
Well, if it would happen in this country, we know the police and the military love Trump. So I guess that would work. But we don't want it to get to that point.
Now, I have this. This is funny. I don't think Wikipedia is a good reference for anything, especially political. I mean, maybe if you want to read about like flower gametes or something, fine. But they're going to mention a lot about this guy. And we know that Wikipedia is basically a leftist activist blog. They say publications like Newsweek are not credible. And Newsweek's really middle of the road. They do some bad leftist stuff for sure, but sometimes they're honest. I have an op-ed published. I published an op-ed when Jamie Raskin smeared me, and they published what I had to say. But they say that leftist blogs like Gizmodo are credible. These people are psychotic.
Yeah.
Good luck, Wikipedia. So I point this out. They're going to mention he's anti-feminist or whatever, and
well, because he doesn't want what? Hold on. Don't skim over that. Elon has been accused of exploiting anti-feminist sentiment for political gain. Elon has claimed that structural sexism is no longer exists in South Korea. So it seems that they got critical theory going on, right? So that's why we have to slow this down and take a look at it. They have critical theory going on in South Korea as well. So now we're starting to understand their condition better, right? We're starting to understand what they're dealing with. And they could have an advanced version of what we're dealing with. They could be a few steps down the road, and it seems like they are, of what we're dealing with. And we just don't know because we're cut off from that. I mean, how many people like look into South Korean politics on a daily basis, right? How many people are keeping up with their struggle, understanding the condition of that country? Let me go ahead and make this a little bit more There we go. So yeah, they got a critical theory issue there going on as well. And he entered office with a pledge to abolish the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. Well, there it is, isn't it, folks? It's just right, it's in your face now. Political conflict related to issues of gender was intense in South Korea in 2022. He announced that the new government would not address gender as a collective issue, but rather focus on and responding to specific individual issues. So yeah, trying to get rid of this bullshit, this globalist bullshit. And this is coming straight out of the UN and the WEF. So they're there as well. This is part of their Agenda 2030. We know the words they use. It's not like everybody just suddenly started using the words. They came up with them and they started making other people start using them. It goes down the ladder, down the pyramid, right? As of May 2022, there were only 3 women among the state councilors of the Yoon Suk Yeol government and only 2 women among the vice ministers. Okay, so they're just trying to pile on here with some shit. Anything else interesting? Increase the ratio. Okay, yeah, okay. So they're using that as a reason to have this this issue going on there, right? So let's go. Let's continue.
So I point this out. They're going to mention he's anti-feminist or whatever. And
okay, Police Bureau proposal, late 2022. Yoon proposed the creation of the Police Bureau in order to ensure greater government oversight of the police force, of the corrupt police forces, evidently. In response, several police officers protested, and that's what Marxists do, claiming the measures was a dictatorial measure to compromise the political neutrality of the police. Really. I bet you they're just shaking people down over there. In response to the protest, Lee Sing-min, Yoon's interior minister, compared them to 1979 coup d'etat of December 12th. Though he later walked back the remarks, Yoon himself also criticized the protesters, saying, "Like many, I am also deeply concerned about the collective protests of the police chief," and calling it a serious breach of police discipline. Following the protests, the presidential office threatened to punish police officers. Additional remarks by, again, remember who's writing this, right? By Yoon. President Yoon's choice for Commissioner General of the National Police Agency suggested that police should focus on wages rather than the establishment of a police bureau, further inflamed tensions. Okay. 2022 Seoul crowd crush. On 29 October 2022, at least 158 people were crushed to death when a crowd surged in an alleyway during Halloween festivities in Seoul. Yoon declared a state of official national mourning. That doesn't sound bad.
He proposed creation of a police bureau to ensure greater government oversight of the police force. They go to mention. Let me see, where is this at? Allegations of the new right. They've referred to him as the Donald Trump of South Korea. Where do they have this? Let me pull that one up for you. No. We don't want bookmarks. We want find. There you go. Allegations of democratic backsliding and media suppression. The Swedish VDEM Institute reported that under his administration, they were dropping in their liberal democracy index. Instantly, I'm like, okay, I think they're liars. Sorry. They described Yoon as South Korea's Donald Trump. They wrote of Yoon. The 2021 elections brought the right-wing and conservative Yoon Suk Yeol to power. His recent professional history already showed abuse of power. The change of president set South Korea back on a downward slope. President Yoon Suk Yeol's coercive measures to punish members of the former Moon administration, along with attacks on gender equality, set Korea to decrease its LDI levels. And I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm just going, really? Sounds to me not too dissimilar to what Donald Trump is. Now, I will stress again, I'm not saying I know enough about South Korean politics to agree or disagree. I'm just saying I don't trust any of y'all. I don't trust a Swedish VDEM Institute. What is this? The Varieties of Democracy Institute. And looks like they like the United States. Is that it? This is their electoral democracy index, and America's blue, and so is Sweden. So I guess they think that we are as good as they are, and South Korea is also blue. Whatever. Don't know if any of that really matters. But the point I'll bring up is if this is the way they're describing this guy, I'm already gonna have a predisposition in his favor. Now, I'm not in agreement with any of the stuff that martial law or any of that. Nah, I'm not a fan of that. Michael Tracy has a post breaking down his address. Michael, I hope your translation is accurate. He says, President Yoon of South Korea decries the legislative dictatorship of the opposition party, which won this year's parliamentary elections. as it uses even the budget as a means of political struggle. Doesn't the allocation of resources often tend to be the locus of political struggle? Yoon says, quote, the government is in a state of paralysis due to impeachment, special investigation, and the defense of the opposition leader. I declare emergency martial law to defend the Free Republic of Korea from the threats of the North Korean Communist forces.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe this guy saw what they did to Donald Trump. What, they're trying to impeach the guy? He's under special investigation? That sounds a lot like what happened with Trump in 2016. And we know it was all a hoax.
Guys, you getting this?
I'm sorry.
You getting this? This sounds a lot like our situation, doesn't it? That's why I thought this was really important to go over. Almost like forecasting a little bit. It's an interesting mix of things, right? Interesting mix of things going on here. But we did you get the feeling like behind all this, the same globalist players are pulling the strings? It's the same playbook, isn't it? Right? It's the same playbook. It's wild, isn't it? It's wild.
But I'm biased. I don't know a lot about South Korean politics, but I see these similarities and it gives me a bias.
Yep.
I think it's wrong to declare martial law, but maybe this guy is reacting because
a bias. I mean, a clarity.
what they did to Trump. And he knows that they've learned from those things and it make it worse. They're going to say,
all right, thanks,
he will eradicate and crush his opposition, whom he describes as shameless pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness of our people. It seems like he was having some political problems and decided he would seize dictatorial power to solve those problems, claiming, as would be expected, a national security pretext. Would they?
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, you don't like our obstruction, Again, obstruction is another one of the big words for this evening, right? Because that's what the deep state is going to try to do. And they've already done it before, but they're going to do it on another level this time. And so as we look around the world, right, over to Asia, we're seeing this gentleman right here, touted as the South Korean Donald Trump, facing similar strategy.
Claim that Donald Trump was having political problems when they accused him of being a Russian traitor and tried impeaching him when he looked into the crimes of Joe Biden, which we now know 10% for the big guy. Yep. So again, I stress, I don't know. First response says, no, Mr. Yoon, the legislature doing something you don't like doesn't mean you get to be a dictator. Did nobody ever tell this guy how democracy or laws work? One person says he'll end up in prison by the...
See, they're calling it, if you fight the corrupt establishment, if you fight corruption, you're a dictator. It's just sticks and stones, right? Sticks and stones.
The end of the decade. Maybe. They say similar things to Donald Trump. Now Donald Trump is actually going to be president again. South Korean political activities banned, protests prohibited, and media censored under martial law. Members of the National Assembly banned from entering building after president announces emergency martial law. This is part of the breaking news, and there's video of this stuff. Take a look.
Hold on. What do I need to see here? I'm sorry. I'm looking over here. What you got? Soulless Ginger, where are you? Let's see. What are you trying to get me to look at here? I saw you up here. I hate not answering promptly. I feel rude. What's wrong? The last 30 minutes or so of Legal Vice's live stream this morning explains a lot about South Korea. That's his take on it. I'll take a look at that after the show. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go further back. Make sure you didn't have anything else. Sorry that I missed all that. I kind of got swept up. Vote to end martial law, and they did. Sounds like it was political. Yeah, they voted. They did that. Let me go back one more. For weather, as time passed, he started getting more info. He wasn't convinced at all. Legal mindset was in Seoul. Oh, yeah, that's right. Those cats are over there, aren't they? Well, no, they're not in Korea. They're in, legal mindset's in Thailand now, isn't he, or something? But they were in Korea at some point. Yeah, they're in Korea, right? In Seoul, Korea, downtown. Nothing happened. Vices figured by the time he woke up, they would. Hey y'all, sorry, I'm reading backwards. I've been cooking and lurking. I was in Legal Vice's stream this morning and he hadn't heard anything about it. He checked into it and only emergency alerts he had were for weather. Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, they're not supposed to be using the media to subvert people, so I don't know. Let's see. You should listen to Legal's. Yeah, I'll listen to it. Thank you for letting me know about that. He lives there. Yeah. It's good to get the first-hand account there. And I can do my media analysis techniques. And he lives in Busan. He does a little dance. All right. So he says he hadn't heard anything in Busan. Well, where are we at here? This is where's Parliament at? Seoul? It's in Seoul. It's in Seoul. All right.
So I'm not. Oh, this is live right now. Wow, they got a live camera going on. I thought that was just a video. So let's get the refresh going and see what the latest updates are. Lawmakers in South Korea vote to lift the martial law decree with 190 of its 300 members present. Just passed a motion. I don't think that matters.
Yeah, doesn't seem
the
that
UK government
matters.
is closely monitoring the situation. The Prime Minister says we would advise all British nationals to monitor the UK travel advice for updates. And is that it? Okay. The Korean won is down sharply. Thousands of people are gathering. We can scroll down. Take a look at some of these images here. So here's a picture of a woman. Okay. This is soldiers advanced to the main building of the National Assembly after South Korean president declared martial law. The question is, did he plan this out with military leaders? Looks like to a certain degree he did. So I don't know if these are police. They say it's military, and they're shutting down Parliament, and police are working with them. I don't see how anything Parliament does is going to work. They say here's a statement from Speaker Woo Won-shik's office. Dear citizens, this is the Speaker of the National Assembly. In response to the President's declaration of martial law, the National Assembly will take appropriate measures in accordance with constitutional procedures. We ask citizens to trust the National Assembly and calmly observe the situation. All members of the National Assembly are requested to convene the main Assembly Hall immediately.
So there's like,
we urge military and police forces to remain calm and maintain their position.
Okay, so there's like I mean, there's now we know, and I guess we could have figured this out. There's two scenarios in martial law. Which ones do you need to worry about? I think I'd be more worried about the one where Parliament and the president would go along with it, or Congress and the president would go along with it. That means they're in agreement about that, and so whatever they are, they're coming after you. That's the scenario where you got to worry about it. And I think that in the old school, awake, aware, and resisting mindset of thinking that Obama is going to declare martial law, the establishment is going to collapse the dollar and declare martial law. Martial law is coming. All FEMA camps, all the old school stuff, right? In that scenario, no one ever concocted the idea that Congress would resist it. What did they? They believed it would be a unified assault based on a national crisis. They bring us to crisis so they can declare martial law and force us to take the chip, force us to take all the different conspiracy theories that were out there about that in-game scenarios, right? I those are scary to think about. I'll tell you that. I've definitely thought about and addressed those as time's gone on. I don't believe that's the way it's going to go down, but that's the scary, deep, dark rabbit hole version of martial law. And so, like I was saying earlier, the idea of martial law has always been an idea floated by the people that were outside the establishment narrative, that the establishment would do that to them. Now, this is the inverse. So now we're seeing a situation where it's the anti-establishment declaring martial law against the establishment that's there because the establishment's corrupt. It's a little bit more like what we may be facing here, right? Should it get to that point? And believe me, this is where the mind control machine takes over, because the establishment wants this to happen. They want to force Donald Trump and make America great again and America first again. They want to make America first. They want to make us look like authoritarians by forcing us into a situation like South Korea right now. I can see the writing on the wall. There's my conspiracy theory for the night, right? So, but no, this is an ideal setup. So this may beta test. They're beta testing it. I'll just go ahead and pull an Alex Jones term out and say the beta test. South Korea is a beta test for the United States. And look, tonight he'll go on and he'll say the same thing I just said. Watch. Yeah, so this would be an ideal beta test of this, because it sits at the same scenario where you have a anti-establishment president-elect. People are tired of the corrupt establishment, then having to take measures in order to get his reforms passed, because their system has been so corrupted over the course of time that they can't get anything done. And so what they're going to do is try to run through court martial. Impeach him, run his name through the mud, not let him get any of his people in, get any of his policies passed. And so he forces the hand to say, this government is so far gone. This is the only way that we can ever restore our freedom and our sovereignty. And so this is what I think I'm seeing right now. And this is a scenario that doesn't look, as you can tell, is not going to look good for the guy doing it ever. And in this scenario, if it was us, in this scenario, the Congress or the establishment, wherever they hold their strength right now, they not anywhere, but a majority of a good portion of them would be resisting and trying to overturn it, right? Like, he's being authoritarian, right? They're trying to overturn it. They're trying to get the corruption out of the system. They're trying to shut down the subversive media. And that's why we don't want it to come to this, right? That's why awake, aware, waking people up, getting them out of the mind control machine is the way to do it. Because if not, the mind control machine takes over and you're forced to go in. Like, I mean, Morning Joe, all these crappy prostitutes we listen to analyze their garbage, right? They are, they're part of this problem that's going on in South Korea, only the South Korean version, right? So they won't shut their mouths. They're still working for the establishment. They're scared. They're shitting their pants. And they're going, he's going to come get us. He's going to come get us. He's going to use Kash Patel to come get us. He's going to use Pam Bondi and Matt Gaetz and all kinds of other people. They're coming to get us, right? Because they know that they're evil. They know what they've been doing. And they know that they're culpable for these crimes. So this scenario that's unfolding in South Korea is becoming an important thing to keep an eye on and understand, because now we can see how things are going to play out in a certain scenario. So as Tim just pointed out, it seems as though he already coordinated with the military before he did this, because the military was there doing what he said to do, and they're not listening to Parliament. So Parliament, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out, and then what happens around the world, who gets involved in this. Oh, UK's got their eye on it. We're keeping an eye on that. We're warning our citizens to be careful. Where are the bought out, sold out countries that are going to be like, this is a travesty? Meanwhile, it's their business, period. And this is how they're dealing with their problem. On Vice's breaking, 911 posted pictures of tanks rolling into Seoul, but Vice's reminded people that in the pics, there were leaves on the tree and it's winter now. So it was snow on the ground. Okay. I'll keep it in mind, man. I'm always up for making sure we got the truth going on here. Thank you for that. Well, what about this? These people look pretty cold.
Here's a video of opposition MPs gathering outside the parliament in Seoul. There's a substantial police presence outside the assembly. I don't know, man. We live in trying times. Right now,
Okay, so let's scenario this out real quick then, guys. He's almost done. Let me
questions about how in California, the whole state shifted to the right. Some counties that were 12%, it was D plus 12, are now R plus 0.5, a massive shift. Yet somehow 30 days after the election, okay, not 30, but like 20 days after the election, the Republican incumbent loses to this Democrat. And there's questions about were certain ballots thrown out. I don't know. I don't think that in this country, at least, Democrats are going to sit by and let Donald Trump just do what he wants. I don't know about South Korea, but I would be surprised if they are not experiencing similar conflicts in worldview and ideology. I believe this is largely due to media consumption and how social media arose. There is a rot of individuals in the United States, at the very least, who believe in self-gain and nothing else. And then you have the more traditional worldview of protecting the country and forming community. The left says they're love and peace in this country, but they lie, cheat, and steal all day, every day. We know the media is lying about everything. Donald Trump did not stage a coup in this country or declare martial law. But they claimed he did. The Chinese embassy has urged citizens in South Korea to exercise caution and remain calm.
Kitty.
The embassy advised Chinese nationals in South Korea to monitor developments in the political situation, enhance safety, awareness, et cetera, et cetera. We get it.
I hope you've been
so
doing
I guess we'll wait and see what we end up getting out of this. We do have another video here I can show you. Yikes.
You trying to grab a gun?
I look at these.
What? Are you trying to grab a soldier's gun? You can literally get shot for that.
I'm gonna tell you right away, I'm biased. Sorry, I absolutely am. There's a lot of conservatives that are criticizing the government of Korea, but my response is like, I don't know. I'm staying out of it because I've watched far leftists firebomb the White House and get away with it. I don't know who these protesters are, and they deserve no sympathy from me. Until we know exactly what's going on, I don't know that it's our place to jump into the fray and figure out who's right and who's wrong in the situation. If there was a far left communist element overthrowing the government through administrative means, then would it be wrong of the president to try and do something about it? Even if it was a desperate and, I would say, bad strategic act? Don't ask me. I ain't going to tell you. I'm just going to say I am traumatized by what we have seen from intelligence agents framing our president as a traitor to this country. And now, maybe that's what they're hoping for. I'm going to wrap it up there. Stick around. We got more segments coming up in the next hour. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Follow me on X and Instagram at TimCat.
All right. Thank you, Tim. All right. That's for Tim. And there we go. So South Korea He says Korea's largest labor union with more than 1 million members is protesting and announced they'll strike until the president resigns. They really don't like the president. You know, the labor unions are traditionally very Marxist. The jury said it himself. He says that's a desired position of power they wish to have. So I don't know. Like, again, I'm with him on this in terms of I'm observing for the benefit of what's going to happen here. They have to work it out themselves. The wheels are already in motion. It will be what it is. America should stay the F out of it. And if anything, we should make sure that everybody else stays the F out of it. Right. And in fact, if I was president of the United States, that's exactly what I would say. I was like, we're all staying out of it. We're all going to stay out of it, aren't we? Yes, we are. Right. Yes. Everybody nodded. Yep. That's right. Nod your head. That's right. We're all staying out of it. We're all staying out of it. They're going to work this out themselves because it's their country. They know what they need to do, and they're going to do it. And we're not going to get involved, because if we have to get involved here, we're taking. We don't know, whose ideology you're going to take. You're going to take the Marxist ideology side of this. That's not going to look real good, is it? Nope. We're all going to stay out of it. All right, now everybody go home. Nothing to see here. Korea, just let us know when it's all over. You're going to stay out of it. That includes you, North Korea. I'm looking at you, Kim. You're going to stay out of it too. And if you're in the middle of it, you guys have gone to war before. It's Korea. It's up to you guys. We're not going to get involved. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what Legal Vice's his stance on things are. I don't know if he's a liberal or a conservative. I don't know if he's America first or globalist first. I have no I don't remember what he likes to do other than drink. So that's all I remember about good old Legal Vices. Good old Legal Vices. And he likes hats and he has a beard. But I haven't seen any of his shows in a very long time. He was in my Law Tube is Getting Weird series. He did a good job in that. But yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. I think we're just on at different times or something. I don't know what it is, but for some reason I never see his stuff and I haven't thought about. I didn't even think about looking into what he thought about this. So I'll check it out. I'll see what he thinks. If I remember right, he's pretty based. Very conservative. Okay, very conservative. No, Legal Vices. I don't know what his name is. Jerry. Is it Jerry? But yeah, Legal Mindset. These are the guys that are over there. Legal Mindset, Legal Vices, Max Mura, Meme Copium. Those are our and Aussie Overlord. Those are our friends on the other side of the world. Those are our Law Tube and Law Tube adjacent buddies and friends. Jeff, that's right, Jeff. I knew I started with a J. Jerry was a race car driver. Oh man, Jeff. That's right, Jeff. Jeff. He went to one of those Matsuri things, didn't he, one time or something, if I remember right.
As if the Russia-Ukraine conflict wasn't enough.
So anyway, South Korea is a very, very interesting scenario, man. It's an example of a battle between the anti-establishment and the establishment of that country. And it seems like the anti-establishment said, okay, get the hell out of the way. And often I've thought about, what do we do when we can't get things done and they're still standing in the way and they're controlling the minds generationally. We can't get the things implemented we need to get to stop it. When does it stop being a psychological war and becoming a more physical war, a more kinetic war, right? Martial law would be the first step in that. Of course, I don't know that the establishment in South Korea that's now being ousted has a leg to stand on. I mean, at some point it could look very authoritarian, but that could just be a cleansing period. How do you rectify that? Has there ever been a time in history where we had to have a violent overthrow of a corrupt establishment and then we go, okay, well, look, we know that that isn't what we wanted to have happen. We'd rather have things peacefully go back to being free and constitutional. But these people just wouldn't stop, right? It's a very important question for us to talk about and ask and talk about right now in this time in history, because we could very well be facing this scenario. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It's just been a minute. Jeff. I remember Jeff now. Jeff likes he likes cigars, right? Does he smoke a cigar? I'm trying to think. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been able to see any of his shows. I think he likes cigars. I think he does. He likes hats. I know he likes hats. He loves a good hat. I've been on stream with him before. I mean, we're cool and all. It's been a long time. I do 5 streams a week, if not more. Yes. He likes hats and cigars. Hats and cigars and dogs, right? He has a dog? He has a dog. Okay, yeah. Hats, cigars, and dogs and booze. He got all. I don't know. Does he still drink? Or is he slowed down on that? He was drinking pretty hard. I think he was one of Brandon Lesko's favorites. If I remember right from back. Now I'm recalling all the memories. He has 2 dogs. He really likes dogs. He has 2 of them. They're bulldogs. Are they bulldogs? I think they're bulldogs. Are they bulldogs? He looks like the kind of guy that would have a bulldog. I'm not lying. 2 English bulldogs. Haha, Strawberry and Yoda. Love it. All right, recall. Total recall coming. And booze. And don't forget the booze. Oh, Jeff. What's up, Jeff? If you're out there, someone clip this and send it to Jeff. Remind him that I still exist. See, all right. Yeah, he was in a couple. I unlisted all the walkthrough, but it's getting weird videos. But he was in a band called Tokyo Grift. So you know how it worked out, right? It started with the playlist is still out there. So the playlist is there, but the videos are unlisted. So if you find the playlist, you can still watch the videos. But I just unlisted them, right? I just off all the Ricada stuff and LogTube imploding. I gotta say, I was the one who called it first. So I never got to complete the story though. But I did kind of complete the story. Like at the end of LogTube is getting weird. Ricada turned heel, Monty turned face. And I didn't get the rest of the story, but it was like, the whole thing it kind of like insinuated that LogTube was getting weird. It was going in different directions. I don't know. But anyways, they were having fun playing in bands. And some of my favorite videos to make were of Tokyo Grift. And that was Jeff was in the band, Legal Mindset, Meme Copium, and Max Mira. And that's a powerhouse band right there. Even though Max and Meme were so talented, they ended up in other bands. That's why they're still a strong part of what is now known as the Everstream parody universe. Once the Lawtainment parody universe is now the Everstream parody universe. Here, my twin brother, you can tell us apart by the color of our eyes. Winning Star Reality has his own channel. It doesn't do much with it, but he was that's his world. That's his world. I've since taken over the based reality, Winning Reality here, and he's winning Sir Reality. I'm running reality. So it's time for us to win reality. Winning Sir Reality had a lot of fun in his time, and who knows, maybe he'll be back one day. But what he does takes a lot of work. But the videos themselves started out with a singing competition that turned into a band competition that turned into some kind of like weird, some weird trolls trying to take over and implement a mind virus that turned into us having to stop it, and ended up with Ricada and Monty in court, where they were both found guilty and sentenced to live together in New York City in a small apartment. And that was the end. That was the end of it. The franchise. You want a Frenchie? My son's talking about a Frenchie. You ain't getting no damn dogs. Anyways, so that's the LawTube is Getting Weird series. And Jeff was a star of that. He did very well. And in fact, one of my favorite videos on there was the one where they did the Offspring song. I Want You So Badly. That was a great song to make. So Jeff was singing that one. I'm trying to think what the other ones they did was they're in the Tokyo Grift video, which is still live. That's the one where Max Mira is Long Dick Dong from Pretty in Pink. And it's all about Tokyo Drift, their band. So that's really good. Christmas time's coming up. And Meme and Max went on to form a band called Cringe Van with BP, and that they put out a Christmas special last year. That's out there. That's still live. You can watch that. That's good. Christmas in Japan, they put out a song. It's really, really cool. So that's Jeff. That's good old Jeff, Legal Vices. So let's get on to our next topic here tonight. And by the way, we'll keep an eye on South Korea. Now that it's on the radar, we must know what happens. We have to find out what happens. But I think it's very interesting, and I think it's going to teach us a lot. But let's get on to our next. And no. I don't. No. Nope. We got cats. We're good. We're happy with the cats. Dog, you have to walk a dog. But if you want to find the playlist, it's called LawTube. # LawTube is getting weird. The playlist is still on my channel. You can dig through it and find it, and you can watch. He played guitar and sing in the video. As you can see, Max plays drums. Meme Copium plays it all. He does it all. Legal Mindset, I think he played a little guitar and does some lead singing. He was kind of lead guy in those videos. Oh yeah, the other one was Scotty Didn't Know. That was the other song they did. You got to watch the series to understand what I'm talking about. It's a parody universe, right? It's a parody universe. Take care, Jay, man. Thank you so much. Hey, we're gonna talk about right now. We're gonna talk about India and China preparing for war. All right, that's the other thing that's going on in Asia. So let's get into that real quick before I ramble on all night.
India and China are going to war, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. This picture was taken this September when Chinese troops crossed over into a territory that's administered by India, in an act that New Delhi now considers an aggressive act of war. As the tensions continue to increase along the line of actual control, India and China have gone beyond diplomatic solutions and are now turning against each other. Along with the graffiti, there's other evidence of Chinese troops illegally settling in the area, including discarded tools, makeshift structures, and food packaging. This
is like, let me make sure we're current here. I think I just saw this come out 5 days ago. Okay, cool. I've been hearing about this for years, though. The ramp up to this has been major. And you talk about the two most populated countries in the world right here.
Related dispute revolves around Arunachal Pradesh and Aksai Chin, which have long been two hotly disputed areas along the border, with India claiming the territory and China also claiming it as its own and going so far as to call it South Tibet, with the U.S. throwing...
I mean, come on. This is so stupid. China, you got so much land. Just let the Indian people have the damn land. I mean, why? What is so important about this land? Rare earth minerals or something?
Its lot with India and Russia offering to mediate on behalf of China, this once regional issue has now crossed the fold into what may potentially be a global war that sucks every superpower into it. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the India-Chinese territorial conflict, go over the details of this impending war, and analyze the consequences of this crisis on a global level. We have CCP bots working tirelessly to push our content back, but we can fight them with your help. Give this video a like, leave a comment, and share it with your friends and family to keep our content on your suggestions.
Yeah, they're after me too, so do the same thing here.
Pages. With that, let's get into today's video. This area right here is called Arunachal Pradesh and is under the control of India. For the first time since 1962, the People's Liberation Army troops have entered about 37 miles or 60 kilometers into that area. The rude graffiti discovered even includes the year 2024 to show how recently this CCP orchestrated defilement occurred. The PLA troops even went so far as to spray China's 5-point star on one of the boulders. The boldness demonstrated by the CCP in this regard is a clear message to India that it's coming for what it believes belongs to it. After this act of aggression, on September 18th, Damien Simone, an open-source intelligence analyst, published pictures showing that China's constructing a new heliport in the Arunachal sector, just 12.4 miles or 20 kilometers from the Indian border. Media reports show that construction began in December 2023, and the heliport's being constructed at Nyingchi Prefecture in the southeastern part of the Tibet Autonomous Region.
All right. So they're basically saying that, I'm not going to go too deep into this. They're saying that China's moving in. This is what it's about. So when you hear about it, these are the areas they're doing, and these are the things that they're doing. I don't understand the significance of this other than it's two places in Asia that are trying to go to war against each other over some little bit of land. It sounds like kind of like Ukraine, Russia, doesn't it? What do you guys think? Does anybody know much about this topic right here? The Belt Road Initiative has caused a lot of shit between Asian nations. Belt Road, okay. Don't get me. Okay. I don't think this one is as relevant as the South Korean issue, but especially if everybody's talking about puppies in the chat. It gets this. I mean, I don't know. Let's watch another couple minutes of this.
Region has always experienced high levels of patrol, especially at the Fishtail 1 and 2 borders. Suspiciously, this is not the only heliport that's been constructed, as China's already constructed over 10 helipads near the line of actual control. We've spoken.
So China's pretty damn serious about this, right? What's this guy going to say?
Mr. Kiren Rijiju commented on China's actions, stating that India was disappointed because the two countries had been in talks, and China's actions were a disregard of a clearly marked agreement. Everyone from the Indian government, defense ministry, and external...
That's a big-ass statue, man. Look at the size of the car compared to that statue. That's huge. That's a big statue. That's pretty damn cool.
Affairs Ministry was involved, and China had agreed that they would not establish any kind of permanent structure outside their line of control.
Communists always lie. Why does anybody listen to what communists say? No, they're our friends. They mean it. They said the guy was smiling when he said it. Of course you meant it. No, the communists always lie. If they're speaking, they're lying to you. Okay, you know why? Because they can lie to them. They lie to themselves. They have no problem lying to you.
After this, India added fuel to the fire when it named a peak on the mountain range after the 6th Dalai Lama.
Doesn't China hate the Tibetan Dalai Lama? Do they hate him? Again, more lies, dude.
Immediately, China pushed.
He does now. I do now see the resemblance to Winnie the Pooh. I don't know how I've missed it this whole time.
Back and stated that Arunachal was its territory. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian stated that India's actions were null and void, and the region in the area.
Your actions are null and void. I declare it because I work for China.
Of Zhangnan was China's. It's ironic that China's calling out India when it's been renaming places in the area since 2017. The team that went to name the peak was led by Colonel Ranveer Singh Jamwal, and they climbed the mountain for 15 days through treacherous crevices.
This is ridiculous. They climbed a mountain to name it after the Dalai Lama. That'll show those Indians. That'll show you. No, sir, you could not know that. You could not name this mountain. It's like, I don't get it. You guys, they're fighting over this land right here. But something tells me if they China gets this land, then it'll be this. Hold on. You guys see my thing. Then it'll be this land. Then it'll be more. And they just try to take over India. You guys don't like Indians. Why would you want to take over their country? Like, what is so important about this area right here? I don't know. I think the South Korea incident is more spectacular, but I do have to get to the other story for the evening before we depart from each other once again. But let me go ahead and pull that up here and here. I like this other thing. I was going to add this into geopolitics. Trump jokes he'll annex Canada after Trudeau panics over terror threat. Mexico caves, Trump won. We'll do that on Good News on Saturday, or maybe we'll do it on Thursday. But this is the. Here we go. Wait, isn't there another one that's shorter? Let me see. Hold on. All right, give me 1 second. Let me do it like this. I swear I saw there's that one. Yeah. Okay, we'll just go with this. We'll go with this. This is good. I wanted to see the compilation, though. I know there was a better one. Let me go here. Give me 1 second, guys. We gotta do this last piece here. Let's burn it. Let's go. Yeah, see, I know I'd see this. All right, let's do this. We're going to do this one. This is a shorter version, and it's probably going to be a little bit more funnier. We'll bring Mark Dice back in for this burning down of Joe Biden and the establishment over Joe Biden. Hey, Crown Target, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, no, you're all good. You're always welcome here, my friend. You're always welcome here. Nacho Kitty, Google says 2,000 square kilometers of India claimed territory was estimated to have been taken over by the Chinese since May 2020. Yeah, they just need to leave the Indians alone, man. They need to leave the Indians alone. They're good people. They're our friends. Stop messing with our friends. All right, let's go.
Pardoned his son.
Oh yeah, by the way, intro. Yeah, Biden lies again. Nobody's surprised. Anybody surprised? Biden total lie. Oh my God. And he pardoned his corrupt, felonious, treasonous son, Hunter Biden, with a really weird 11-year pardon. And I'll make my comments after the video.
Hunter for any and all crimes, known and unknown, over the last
known and unknown. That's God level power, isn't it?
decade, because, well, it's utterly humiliating.
I've forgiven you for all your sins now and forever. So do whatever you want.
For the Democrats. And now they don't even have a leg to stand on regarding any of their complaints about Donald Trump's trumped up charges. The Democrats haven't been this humiliated since, well, Election Day. Remember the 5th of November. Here is CNN interviewing Democrat Congressman Dan Goldman, where they actually showed a clip of him previously on the network saying that there wasn't a chance that Joe Biden would do such a thing.
In July of 2023, just after that plea deal fell through, this is what you said. I want to watch.
Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him.
Only Donald Trump would undermine our democracy in such an egregious way.
What does that feel like, watching yourself back then, reassuring people that Biden was not going to issue?
Look at his face. What does it feel like to be a total douchebag and lie to everybody and then be made a fool of? Please tell us.
Issue a pardon for his son.
Yeah, and I think that if that plea agreement and that plea deal had gone through, there would be no pardon.
Hold on. What now? You said if it had gone through, there wouldn't have had to be a pardon. So when you said that, you know that what you're saying is you didn't know that this would happen because you didn't know the plea deal wouldn't go through, right? Is that what you're saying? All right.
That was a satisfactory outcome.
It already fallen
that
through.
Only was. Sorry.
When you reacted, this was when the deal had fallen through.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Flush your career down the toilet, you lying sack of shit.
Oh, this is the look of a man who has been caught in such an obvious lie. There's no way out. I can do that.
All they do is lie. If they're talking, they're lying.
2018, Congressman Adam Schiff was so delusional due to his Trump derangement syndrome. He was concerned that President Trump was going to pardon Donald Trump Jr., expecting Donald Trump Jr. to be indicted and imprisoned for the Russia hoax, that he introduced legislation trying to prevent presidents from pardoning family members.
What exactly would it do? What it would do is say that in the event the president pardons anyone in an investigation in which the president is a witness, a subject, or the target, those investigative files will all be turned over to the Congress. The Congress ought to know whether the president is using the pardon power to obstruct justice. The American people have a right to know. I think it is clearly constitutional. It doesn't prohibit him from granting a pardon, even a pardon he shouldn't grant. But it does say that we will be able to at least find out whether the president is using this power to shield himself from liability.
Oh, you mean like?
Oh, good idea. I think we should just play this clip next to Biden pardoning his son, and just put it on a loop.
Old Joe shielding himself as the big guy, pardoning his consigliere, Hunter, from all and any crimes that he committed while money laundering and engaging in influence trafficking with Ukraine. But after Hunter Biden's convictions and everyone knowing what would ultimately happen at the end of old Joe's term regarding the pardons, the liberal media assured the American people with a straight face that he would never do such a thing.
Presidential promise to put the law before family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that.
and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers. Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but I mean, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal, and he did that today.
He did that tonight. And thanks to the power of the internet, we have countless clips like these of Democrats assuring the American people after the persecution of Donald Trump that no one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law.
Merry Christmas.
No one's above the law.
Whoopi Goldberg over on The View, which, by the way, is the #1 most watched talk show in daytime television in America. That's how many divorced women and single moms there are out there. She insists that Joe Biden was never lying.
I respect it as a parent. I understand why he would do it, but I wanted to understand why lie about it for so long.
I would stop. I'd stop calling it a lie.
Okay, why repeatedly say you're not going to and you do? And secondarily, for the
So she agreed. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to tarnish old Joe as a liar. This woman is the
Okay, well, I wouldn't have been dishonest about it and telling a falsehood. Is that better, Whoopi? Does that sound better? Yeah, that sounds better.
fake token conservative who is just there to claim that she's a conservative while she just complains about every single thing that conservatives do and believe.
Yeah.
I think Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter. And I think the more stuff that went down.
You mean he didn't expect to have to pardon Hunter because he was hoping that he would be found not guilty?
And I think the more stuff that went down.
The more guilty verdicts?
I think he said, well, why am I busting my behind to stay straight and do this when nobody else is?
He was indicted.
Oh, yeah. She's like, when I'm just going to go ahead and just be evil, right?
By the Biden Justice Department under the watch of Merrick Garland. He was convicted by a jury of his peers, but old Joe just couldn't play it straight anymore. He had to become corrupt in order to save America. Sadly, we don't have video of cringe Jean-Pierre, old Joe's spokeswoman at the White House, being confronted about this, although I'm sure that it will be brought up during future White House press briefings. We do have some audio of her, however.
You have said repeatedly yourself since the election, the president has said for months, no pardon was coming. I wanted to ask you, could those statements now be seen as lies from the American people? Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. And if you see the end of his, I assume that you've read his statement, and you look at the end of that statement, and he actually says that in the first line in the last paragraph.
Okay, that's just another Kamala Harris level word salad. So I guess we're just going to have to wait until the next White House press briefing for Peter Doocy to do his job and get the video clip. Others with Trump derangement syndrome, however, blame Donald Trump for all this.
But look, I mean, if you're talking about lying or you're talking about Joe Biden's word, Joe Biden's out of here in just a month or two, right? We're not going to hear from Joe Biden again. He's going to be a former president, and that's going to be the end of that. But I want to be clear about something. Donald Trump broke something in this country when he got elected the first time, and then he
he broke the corrupt establishment. That's what he did. He broke the corrupt establishment. Oh no!
In pieces when he got reelected, and we will never get that back again. When you have a president of the United States, an incoming president, effectively saying that he's going to weaponize the Justice Department to go after his enemies. When he called the Biden family, the Biden quote unquote.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, I'm going to weaponize the justice system to go after my enemies like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, that's what he said. Right. Remember this chick? This chick cannot lie. She was the one on there talking about, she was on that panel, remember? And we totally railed her into the ground. It's like she was like, I'm gonna go protest to save the illegal aliens in my community from being deported. I'm gonna be the first one out there. Sure you are.
Crime family, and made it very clear that he was going to do everything in his power to appoint people who were going to go after them, regardless of whether they committed crimes or not.
I mean, dude, this woman gets up every morning and goes, she looks in the mirror and goes, I'm an honest girl. I'm an honest girl. And she knows she lies. She lies to herself so she can lie to you.
You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand which way the wind was going to blow. And as you said again,
you're accusing Donald Trump of the exact same things
that the Democrat Party are guilty of.
And I ain't even
But
bringing
leave it to
that
the
part
twits on
up.
TikTok to beg Joe Biden for more corruption.
This message is for my president, Joe Biden. And I probably speak for millions of Americans in this country.
Probably don't.
Please, Joe. Please, 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 please use your immunity now to do whatever you can to make sure that this selfish, narcissist, lying traitor
What? She's talking about herself?
never becomes a dictator and does not have the ability to take away things from the American people that we have contributed to for decades.
Like what?
Please, Joe, use the immunity that was implemented basically for the one that's always above the law. Use it
You're too old. He won't listen to you.
now to your advantage.
If you had put yourself in pigtails and like sat in front of an elementary school, he might have got the message.
And for the American people.
Undermine democracy to save democracy, Joe. But speaking of savings today for Cyber Monday.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Thank you so much. We do have one little last thing here. And thank you, Crown Target, for this, because now I get to do this.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Everybody loves breaking news.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Tucker Carlson in Moscow. American military personnel launched missiles into mainland China and killed at least 12 soldiers. Here's 3 minutes from Tucker Carlson.
In the week since we left Russia, Moscow, where we are now, in February, after interviewing Vladimir Putin, we've watched from the United States as the Biden administration has driven the U.S. ever closer to a nuclear conflict with Russia, the country that possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal. It has accelerated ever since, and it's reached its apogee so far in the weeks after Trump's election. He is now the president-elect. In that time, just a few weeks ago, the Biden administration, American military personnel launched missiles into mainland Russia and killed at least 12 Russian soldiers. So we are, unbeknownst to most Americans, in a hot war with Russia, an undeclared war, a war you did not vote for and that most Americans don't want, but that is ongoing.
Yep. Because
of that war, because of the fact that the U.S. military is killing Russians in Russia right now, we are closer to nuclear war than at any time in history. Far closer than we were during the Cuban Missile Crisis. That would mean the elimination of Russia, the United States, and most of the rest of the world.
Merry Christmas.
We felt there must be someone behind the scenes in Washington working to make sure that this conflict doesn't become a nuclear holocaust. But we found out that no, in fact, there is nobody.
He did.
Tony Blinken, the current Secretary of State, cut off all contact between the U.S. and Russian governments. There is.
Oh, that's a good move. That's smart. That's a smart move. Yeah. Let's cut off all contact so that way we can guarantee it. These people are like, if you start seeing reports, these people are like heading out to the mountains and shit. That's not a good sign, right? They're heading out to their bunkers. They're heading out the country or something like that. Not a good sign.
No back channel. There is no conversation. There hasn't been for more than 2 years. That's shocking. Meanwhile, most Americans have no access to any perspective other than that granted to them by NBC News and the New York Times. They don't know how close we are. They don't know the Russian perspective. We've been trying for over a year to get that perspective out to American news consumers. We've also tried for over a year to get an interview with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. We've attacked that from a bunch of different angles. We've spoken to a lot of different people around him, had dinner with them. We've been in talks continuously, and those efforts have been thwarted by the U.S. government. The American embassy in Kiev, which our tax dollars pay for, told the Zelensky government, no, you may not do the interview. You can talk to CNN, you can't talk to us. So we've been unable to speak to him. So we came back to Moscow yesterday to interview the foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, the longest serving foreign minister in the world. He's been a part of this government for 25 years. He's been in the diplomatic corps for over 40, and ask him, where exactly are we? Are we headed toward an unprecedented conflict between Russia and the United States? Is there any way to peel Russia back from the east, from the sphere of China, back into the west? Is that alliance permanent? And does the election of Donald Trump mean an end to this war, which is reshaping the world, the U.S. economy, the global economy, and risking the life of every person on this planet? Is that possible? We just walked out of that interview. It's absolutely fascinating. It's coming very soon. We hope you'll watch.
All right. Well, there you go. There's some breaking news. Let's see. Breaking 911. Breaking news. All right. What were you saying over there, Crown Target, my friend? Trying to get receipts. It's a new post by Tucker on his own page. Let's see. Hold on. Are you getting receipts? All right, cool. I got that part. All right. And yeah, Heidi, you did bring that up earlier. Thank you for that. It's a new post by Tucker on his own page. Haven't seen any additional content yet. How new is it? Is it breaking news new? Oh, there we go. Sorry. I still haven't gotten my my X page back, but we're getting close. I think we're getting close. We got a response from one of the helper guys, and I just have to like take care. I have to do a few things to make it work. So, anyways, we're back in Moscow. Here's why. Hold on.
It's accelerated.
This is the same page. This is the same post. It's the same post. Hold on. Let's just both 3 minutes.
Weeks after Trump's election, he's now the president-elect. In that time, just a few weeks ago, the Biden administration.
This sounds different. He just looks the same in every post. All right. What does this say? We're back in Moscow. Is it the same one? All right, I'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. We're back in Moscow. Here's why. It sounds like the same thing, doesn't it?
In the week since we left Russia, Moscow, where we are now, in February, after interviewing Vladimir Putin, we've watched from the United States as the Biden administration has driven the U.S. ever closer to a nuclear conflict with Russia, the country that possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal.
It sounds different.
It has accelerated ever since, and it's reached its apogee so far in the—
Hold on. I remember that last time. We saw this one, right, guys?
Weeks after Trump's election. He's now the president-elect. In that time, just a few weeks ago, the Biden administration, American military personnel launched because of out the West. Is that we headed toward? You can talk to CNN.
Okay, yeah, we saw this. Okay, I just had to make sure it looked the same, but then I thought I didn't remember something I did, and there you have it. And that's the way it works in this world. That's the way it works in this world. Anything else, guys? Yep, that was breaking news. You like the intro, Nacho? Remember to listen to the Wolf guys. You know what we was talking about. Yeah, that was confirming breaking. Okay, same one. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Guys, it's time to get on to getting. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I appreciate each and every one of you. You winners out there being part of the solution and being here, hanging out with me for all the things we do. I'll be back Thursday night live for another edition of Winning 2024. More news, politics, geopolitics, happenings from around the world, inside our own country, as well as the fight to free us from tyranny and make America great again. It's all right here. If you're awake, aware, and resisting, you are the anti-establishment. You are home right now. So I will see you guys soon. Have a great evening, each and every one of you. Be safe out there. And until next time, stay based and keep on.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.